guest that I am so honored to have tonight. Drea Kelly is an incredible woman who is a domestic violence advocate and a voice so needed in the domestic violence advocacy community. Drea, you were married for 13 years to platinum R&B singer R. Kelly, and you have 3 children together. And your relationship with R. Kelly started about 20 years ago. And I'm really thrilled to have you here tonight because your story of the abuse that you endured in your relationship with R. Kelly is one that I think everyone needs to hear.
When you share your stories, others don't feel alone. And it also gives awareness to domestic violence is no respecter of man. It doesn't matter if you're Black, it doesn't matter if you're white, it doesn't matter if you're educated, uneducated, rich, poor, man, woman. It could happen to anyone. And me being an extrovert, I'm what they call a theater brat. I was cheerleader, a gymnast. So, I'm a big bubbly personality. So I would have never thought in a million years that I would be sitting here before everyone watching as a survivor of domestic violence. The two just didn't even go together with my personality. But when I was doing the work and being in counseling, and shout out to Linda Randall, my therapist, who I love. I always say the guy has a hype name, she's a therapist. Yes, that's God's hype name, therapist. So don't be afraid. Going to therapy, being in counseling, and really figuring out where that behavior was familiar. How could such a people person end up in that place? And it really went back. I say that we're all trees, branch leaves from fruit. And it all goes back to the root of your tree to understand like the fruit that you do. And for me, it was my grandfather. He was a Baptist preacher, but he was also the first man that I ever saw beat a woman. So for me, God, love, and pain were commonplace and very real at a young age. So fast forward, I end up with Robert and people often say, how do you end up with a man like that? Well, it's because their behavior is familiar to you. There's nothing that he's doing that you will go, whoa, I've never seen this before. And in some instances, it does happen that way. But I will say 9 times out of 10, it is a cycle. It is a learned behavior that you have either seen or, and all of us really, if you think about it, everybody knows someone.
Guys, can you hear this? Can you hear this? Oh, it's echoing. Okay, let me mute myself. Hold on.
So I'm so happy that we have this platform so that people do not feel alone.
Well, and I'm so happy as well. I think we need to talk about this issue all the time because you're right, it does affect so many people in our community, locally, nationally, globally. We have seen, and especially now since this pandemic and COVID-19 and sheltering in place, it has really become a stark reality that we have had to face as a community, that domestic violence, it was there before, but now it's becoming so visible because we see that with sheltering in place, people are having to endure the abuse at home and they're not able to escape. And so it's really coming to the forefront. We're seeing more cases. We're seeing people apply for protective orders. So having your voice out there in the community, telling people that you're not alone, because we know that isolation is one of the things that breeds domestic violence more than anything else. People feeling alone, people feeling ashamed, people feeling like they have nowhere to turn. So you provide such a powerful tool for others. And so thank you so much for being here. Now you touched on the fact that as a child, you were exposed to domestic violence. And I want to talk about that. How old were you when you experienced that?
I had to be about 6 or 7 years old. And the irony in that, my daughter, the first time she, person to person, like full on was exposed to domestic violence with her father. It was actually verbal. It was not physical at this time. She was about 6 or 7.
Wow.
And it was something about that moment that I went back to my childhood and thought, wow, it wasn't so much what my grandfather did that changed me, it's what my grandmother didn't do that changed me. Because I had accepted at 6 or 7 years old, like the man that I knew of my grandfather had passed away. He died on that day. So I just accepted that he was a monster. But what changed me was how my grandmother got up the next day and made him breakfast like nothing ever happened. So it taught me at a young age that family secrets, as we have all been told, you don't air your dirty laundry. And my grandmother was such a lady of grace. Like she was just the epitome of woman to me. So to see her get up the next day, she didn't cry, she didn't mope, she did her hair, she did her makeup. It taught me to be a lady of grace through abuse. And I think that that is devastating because it then puts you in a place as a victim that this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to tell anyone. I'm supposed to hide it. And not only am I supposed to hide it, I should get up the next day and not make my abuser feel uncomfortable. That I need to present myself in such a way that he's done nothing wrong. And I found myself with my daughter sitting at the foot of my bed. We were actually in Coconut Grove. I will never forget this day. My ex was there for MTV Awards. And he's sitting there, and I went to Parrot Jungle Island with my children, and we have these photos. So because of time, I'll just fast forward. We're looking through the photos, and this is back, like I'm telling my age, when you had to go to like Wolf Camera or Walgreens to get the film developed. So it wasn't like,
I'm right there with you.
yeah, you know, it wasn't like iPhone, ta-da, here are the photos. I had to wait an hour. So we did the pictures, we come back. So I have not seen what's on the camera. So we're holding like this albino python or something like this. And there's a guy in the back of the photo. He's like this. So back then we didn't have a name for it, but now they call it photobombing.
Right.
So he photobombed us. And once we got to that photo, all of a sudden, and I knew when the abuse was going to start because his demeanor would change. And I often said he would turn into a cobra to me. It was like his shoulders would grow and they would hunch over, and his eyes, his pupils would get dilated. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. He has shown up. And he goes, what the F is this? Now I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? Like, we're going through the pictures. This is a parrot. This is a monkey. This is a hawk. He goes, what the F is this? You should have eyes in the back of your head. Now, first, I don't know about anybody else. The ones on the front of my face don't work very well. So I don't know how the imaginary ones in the back are supposed to work. But he's like, you should have eyes in the back of your head. You know, I don't play that as men being next to you and my kids. And I just remember my daughter stopping. And she looked up at her dad and she said, Daddy, why are you being mean to my mom? Why are you talking to her like that?
Wow.
And something just clicked for me. And it like fast forwarded in my head. I thought, this is that fork in the road. Because I remember being that little girl when all of a sudden who my grandfather, who I thought he was, totally changed. Her dad just changed to her right before her very eyes because she had never experienced that before. And it was just like my spirit left my body. Judge Dimple, I was like, I'm done. I'm gone. Because the next step from that is pushing me in front of her, then choking me in front of her, then hitting me in front of her, then punching me in front of her. And I thought, I don't want the root of her tree to be abused like it was for mine, because when she gets older and she gets in a relationship, God forbid if it's domestic violence is involved, who am I to tell her to leave? Because I thought the first thing she would say is, but you stayed with my dad all those years. So I thought, wow. And the last thing that really went through my head that just, it was like the nail in the coffin. I literally saw her in a coffin, in a casket. And I thought, every woman doesn't make it out. Is that the path that I want to put my children on, where this becomes commonplace? And what if they become a fatality?
Right.
So that's when I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. But it had been so abusive up until that point, but that was just the point that it happened in front of my children.
And I want to talk about what led up to that, but I think you bring an interesting point to light, which is children who experience domestic violence in their homes. They do know what's going on. They feel it, they see it, it's tangible for them. And a lot of times I've talked to survivors before in the work that I've done who have expressed to me, well, he's a good father, or she's a good mother, or the kids don't see anything, they don't hear anything, or they were asleep. But I think you and I both know that they do hear, they feel, they know. And it's incredible that you were able to take that moment and gain strength from that and use that to extricate yourself from a situation that you knew could be lethal. But you talked about, before we get to that, you talked about the cobra, or the feeling of things have changed. You know, he's turned into that abuser. He went from being R. Kelly, the persona, to Robert Kelly, the person, and you've described him that way. Take us back how you guys met, when you were a dancer, and you're still an incredible dancer. So talk to me about how you met him.
Actually, it was an audition. I was 19 years old. And again, I'm what you call a bunhead. I was into ballet, jazz, modern, and I thought to myself, okay, R. Kelly, I'm an audition, and I don't think my dad's gonna go for this. This is not what they pay for dance classes for. But I went, I met him. Long story short, he didn't have a choreographer. Lisa Ray, very good friend of mine, she was gonna do choreography for him, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. She's a model, not a dancer. I will not do that. So I said, I do choreography also. So he went to play basketball like he typically does. He came back. I had 3 songs done, ready to go. He stops the rehearsal and he's like, stop. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I just got fired. Okay, I think I overstepped my boundaries on this one. He's like, they used to call me baby girl. I want to introduce my new choreographer, baby girl. That's really how, and from that day on, every day we were inseparable, working on his albums, working on his tours, his international tours, during the first leg and the second leg of the tours. So we really started out as boss and employee. Then we instantly, it was like we had this common thing that people say, what is that thing? Well, that thing is pain.
Yeah.
Because he came from a household of abuse. He came out from a household where he was molested as a child. He came from a household where literacy, he was illiterate. He could not read. So I think that harmed, bruised, lost child in him found that hard, bruised, lost child in me. And we felt like, wow, my tribe, I found somebody who as a kid, they went through abuse too. So then I believe that it's just 2 toxic people that come together, and you think that this is something that we can heal through together. But the thing about healing, I wanted his healing more than he wanted it. And you can't want someone else's healing more than they want it. So through the relationship, he would share things with me about not being able to read. And I do believe that a part of it, like, and people ask me, where do I take my responsibility in it? It's almost like I took on a God complex, that I would love him enough, that I would pray him through it enough, that anywhere he had shortcomings, I didn't want anybody to see them. So we're at restaurants, I would read the menus for him and tell him what's on it before the waiter would come, because you almost feel like, not that you're protecting him so much, but you almost feel like you're protecting yourself, because you feel like we're from the same tribe.
Right.
That just culminated into a relationship of him asking him to marry me. And I remember sitting on the back of the bus. I don't remember this day. He tells me this story. He said, I was sitting on the back of the tour bus and sitting in the window, and the sun was shining through, and I was reading my Bible. And he said, and I didn't want to disturb you. And he says, that's the moment I fell in love with you. And I don't really recall when it transitioned for me, because again, I felt like early in the relationship, I took on like this mother nurturer God complex, like, oh, I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't ever have to be in that alone. That is the worst thing you could do, especially when you are coming from something and you're cracked and you're going through abuse. So a lot of the things about him that now, when they say hindsight is 2020, is so real. What I thought was just a man that ran a tight ship. Like, as dancers, we weren't allowed to talk to any of the other performers on tour. We weren't allowed to eat with the other performers on tour. We were to go to our dressing room. We had to walk in a straight line. We had to look at the ground. In my mind, I'm not thinking, oh, this is an abusive, controlling man. I'm just thinking, hey, I work for him. If this is how he runs his ship, maybe there's a reason behind it. Not knowing that he's blatantly showing me signs of how controlling he is. He's showing me signs of how manipulative he is. But because I was not in an intimate relationship with him at that point, I was able to disconnect from it. But I think if I would have listened to that gut, that thing that said to me, he's just like your grandfather,
Right.
Watch the way he works with people. He's just like your grandfather. I think that I would not have stayed as long as I did. And I think if I wasn't a child that was exposed to abuse, I would not have stayed as long as I did, because it's the children in us that I think became like besties, and we supported each other, and we're going to be okay. So in the beginning, very much like any other abuser, he was very charming, very sweet. He doted upon me. And I say that most women don't know the difference between a charming man and a cunning man. The only difference is the cunning man, it's what's behind his motives. Why is he doing what he's doing? Most abusers are very cunning because, of course, they're trying to get you to that place where you're vulnerable. You let your walls down. So yes, they're going to take you to dinner. Yes, they're going to buy you gifts. Yes, they're going to buy you a pretty outfit. But the first time you wear it and you're not with them, that's when you're going to see, oh, that was something that a cunning man did, not a charming, loving man, because people want you to wear whenever you want to wear it because it's for you. It wasn't meant to control you. And I think that women don't even know the difference because by definition, they're the same.
Right. And I do think there's some piece of this where we as women sometimes have been socialized to think that we can change someone and we can be polite and nice and conciliatory and make things better and smooth things over. And and that sounds like what you were experiencing emotionally at that time. At some point, though, those red flags that you were able to ignore for at least a little bit, those started to become more apparent. They started to increase in frequency. Describe some of those controlling behaviors that you experienced before the violence.
Oh, wow. From he paid my cell phone bill. I did not know that he would change my cell phone number also. So I'm thinking, oh, I haven't heard from so-and-so in so long, wouldn't call. The mind games, the manipulation of, they're jealous because you're with me now. And that's why they don't call you. So it's making perfect sense to you because you're like, we've been friends for so long and I really don't hear from them anymore. Not knowing that you've been changing my phone number and slowly but surely isolating me. That was the process of isolation, saying that my family members, you're going to have to keep an eye on them because you have to realize you're a millionaire now and who you're married to, and people are going to want money from you. And then the sick part of that is, yes, friends and family do reach out to you. They do need help, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're being manipulative. It doesn't mean that they want anything from you. That's what family is supposed to do. But again, when you're in an abusive relationship, you don't see it because that's a part of the isolation to get you further and further from your families, down to telling me who I could be friends with, that he had to approve my friends. Crazy. Like even as a child, I've never had someone outside of your parents tell you, this kid, I don't think you should be friends with them. But other than that, your parents let you fall down, skin your knee, you get back up and keep going. From what I could wear, I was not allowed to leave the house without letting him know, not allowed to leave our master bedroom without knocking. And in the surviving R. Kelly doc, one of the women on there, Sparkle, she did speak of a time where she was in the house with us. And she said, and I remember hearing somebody knock on the door, and it was his wife asking, could she come out to eat? Like literally. And if you did not, there were repercussions. And that's what I want people to understand. Women that are in these situations, it's not just, oh, Drea's stupid because she sat there and knocked on the door to come out and get food. It was the first time that I did it without knocking, he made sure that I knew to never do it again.
Right.
You pay dearly. So people need to be more aware of the behavior that you see from a victim did not come out of nowhere. These abusers, they like to teach you a lesson. They let you know that there's rules to follow. And if you don't follow them, there's hell to pay. And it literally is. And that's why when people ask me, why did you keep your last name? I say, because I paid for this name in blood, sweat, and tears, literally, not figuratively, literally.
Well, and I do think the conversation has to shift. The narrative has to shift from why did she stay? Why did he stay? To what did the abuser do to make it impossible to leave? What are the actions that that person took? What's the fear that they created in the relationship to make it almost impossible to leave? And you've talked about the controlling behavior, and at some point that escalated into violence, physical violence, and abuse. And I think you've described in the past that you were pregnant when one of the first incidents took place. Can you talk about that?
Yes, the first incident took place when I was actually pregnant with Joanne. And my dad and I had been estranged for many, many years because my mom was divorced. And also she comes from a history of abuse, also molestation. So she came from a house with a cracked foundation also. So this was the time, you know, around Christmas, like, yay, my dad and I, we finally had this talk come together. And I'm upstairs and security answers the door and they let my dad in. And, you know, I'm just super excited because I'm like, my dad, he came and I just can't wait for him to meet Robert. He goes ballistic. Why is he at my house and you didn't ask me permission to have him at my effing house? He locks me in the bathroom. So I end up in the bathtub, sleeping in our bathtub, pregnant.
Wow.
And I just thought, this is not happening. He had my dad removed from our home. And years later, my dad told me, like, baby, pussycat, that's what he calls me. He said it almost became a physical altercation because he had 3 of his security guards come and escort me out, and then told my dad that I said I never wanted to see him again. And why is he here? And he's upsetting me. My sister, who was there, also, she said, I heard you screaming and crying, but we didn't know what it was. And we thought, okay, I know he's not harming because she's pregnant. And at this point, we didn't know he was abusive. And I could hear you guys going back and forth because I was screaming like, no, you don't understand. It's my dad. It's my dad. I want to see my dad. I haven't seen my dad in years. He goes on this tangent about how you don't need any other man in your life. I'm your dad. Anything you want, I will provide. Again, the isolation. And when they see that it is something that is heart-wrenching for you, have you ever heard that saying where they say, I know where the bruise is, so you put your thumb on it and press? It was that thing that the more I cried for my dad, the angrier he got. Because again, to him, I was to have contact with no other men. It couldn't be my dad, no uncles, friends that I had in the past. If they were males, gone. I can't have that either. Even some of his employees, when they would walk in, he would make them look at their feet. They weren't allowed to speak to me. And if they did, they had to keep their heads down when they spoke. He was very selective about who could be around me. Even my own brother-in-laws, his brother Bruce, his brother Kerry, we weren't even allowed to have relationships together. And I'm thinking, but we're family. I don't, like, this is the uncle. These are the uncles of your children. He didn't care. They were males. And he even put things in my head to make me afraid of them.
Yeah. Well, he worked so hard to keep you isolated and, you know, to all of that hard work that he put to isolate you, to make you believe that no one cared about you, to make you believe that you were doing something improper by having close relationships with male relatives, and all of that because it would infringe upon his control over you.
Yeah, and that was his thing with my dad. He was like, well, why do you think he's coming around now? Yeah, because you're rich. Now he wants to be a dad. And he just wants something. And I'm thinking, my dad is nothing like that. Like, you don't know my dad. I need to talk to my dad. And what I think was the light of the match is when he told me, no, I'll talk to your dad for you. You don't even know what you want to say to him. And I just thought, how could I not know what I want to say to my own father? So it's the levels that they go to, it saddens me that people think, why don't you just leave?
Right.
They don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Right. And I think one thing that often is misunderstood,
guys, this is an interview that is live that's going on right now.
Not every day is like that. And that's what becomes so confusing and so difficult. You know, it is a cycle, and we've all talked about the cycle of violence. Many people know about it. But, you know, that cycle it ends with you know, promises to change and apologies and expectations that you might have that things will be different, you know, and he will change over time, and he's suffered so much and he's gone through so much in his life, and I need to give him an opportunity to change. And so that cycle continues. And I imagine having children and building a life with someone makes it increasingly difficult to extricate yourself and to leave and to feel safe about leaving.
Yeah. And that's where the economic, financial abuse comes in. And people don't think that that's a form of abuse at all. And it is. I had no access to credit cards. I couldn't tell you whose name was on the bank account. There was an accountant. So anything that I needed, anything that I wanted, I had to go through him to get it. He would give me an allowance. So again, financially, where are you going with 3 children? And then you have the shame that you carry with you, because now, even if you are ready to go, you feel like I've alienated so many of my friends and family. Do they want anything to do with me? Would they be willing to help? because I haven't talked to them in years. Some people it's months. For me, it was years. I hadn't talked to friends and family. So then you're stuck between this rock and a hard place, because you feel like now that I'm coming back, I don't want them to think that I didn't care. I wanted to be around them. I wish I had them. I wish I had the power. I wish I had my voice. I wish I had courage. But at that point, I didn't. Are they going to be understanding? Or is it going to be a day late and dollar short? And are they done with it? So many things go through your mind, and you're thinking for your children also. I made a conscious decision to marry this person and have children with them. Then you're thinking, now I'm uprooting my babies and taking them from everything that they know. So you have that layer of guilt that you carry with them, because it's like, we weren't going from just, oh, we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment to a shelter. It's like, how do you go from nannies and drivers and Maybachs and a mansion to, okay, now I may possibly have to take my children to a shelter? And some may say, well, what's the problem with that? But when you're a mother, you're thinking, now my choices have affected my children's livelihood and their quality of life. So then you start to take on, well, you know what? I'll take a black eye if they have a roof over their head. I'll take someone pulling my hair if that means they can stay in their room with their favorite toys and be in school with their best friends. So then there's a whole nother layer that's involved when it comes to domestic violence, because again, you're also thinking, it's different if I try to get away and he just kills me. That's a chance I'm willing to take. But as a mother, you think, oh my God, what if he kills us all?
Right.
And when you weigh that, you just say, you know what, I'll stay and I'm going to ride this out until whoever's the youngest is 18, and then I'm going to get out of here. But the reality is some women don't make it that long.
Yeah. And that's really powerful, because fear is not to be discounted. That obviously, among the other things that you talked about, played a huge part in why you felt that it was not safe to leave, or that you couldn't leave the relationship. But at some point you did leave. And what was that turning point for you? When was that moment when you thought, you know what, that's it?
I call that moment the weekend. Actually, the same story that I told you guys about Parrot Jungle Island, with us looking at the photos, the next day, I just remember being in my room and something said, play sick. Like, I just don't want to deal with him. He wants me to go and see what he's doing on MTV Awards. And this is the first time he's performing Trapped in the Closet. And I'm thinking, I could really care less about what you're going to perform on the show. Like, do you not know what happened yesterday? But that evening when that happened, I was actually locked upstairs in the penthouse. There was a hurricane. And I just remember the glass pane shaking and there's water coming in. And he left me there. The kids are with the nanny. I'm up in the room because that was my punishment for the day for not behaving. And I thought to myself, this is the middle of a hurricane, and he didn't even so much as call to check to make sure I'm okay. I called down to the front desk and they told me, take the mattress, if you can, get it off of the bed and try to wedge it against the window and pray. And I thought, that's all you can tell me, because I can't get on the elevator, can't go down the stairs. I'm too afraid to walk out of the door. Like that, the mental hold that they have on you and the physical hold that fear has on you. Mm-hmm. I was too afraid to even open the door and attempt to run down 30 flights of stairs. So I asked the lady, is there anything else I could do? She really just said, you can get in the bathtub and pray. And I remember the next day, the sun came out, just like the song says, the sun will come out tomorrow. I looked outside and there were leaves and poles. It was a mess, but the sun was shining so bright. And I just thought, I don't think I can take another day. I don't think I can take another day of this. And I went to my room. And again, I said, I'm going to just go play sick, whatever he asked. I don't feel well. I'm staying in the bed. And I just think something came over me when again, as a mother, though spiritually, I felt like I left when that incident happened with my daughter, but physically, I still felt trapped. And I thought, where are you going with 3 kids and no money? Yeah. And again, for those listening, they are probably saying to themselves, well, what do you mean no money? Again, your abuser makes it very clear. It's their money. And I will give you an allowance. My name's not on any of the accounts. So it wasn't just go to the bank, pull out some money, go away with my kids and start a life all over. That was not an option. I literally had nothing. So where are you going? Because you'd have to ask for money. And then he's going to want to know, what do you need money for? And where are you going? And if I even had that, I don't have a home. I've been alienated from my friends and family and loved ones. I'm just not happy about myself. At that time, I mean, I'm a petite woman, but at that time I was wearing a kid's 14, 16. I was that small. Stomach problems because I couldn't eat. My hair was falling out, just all of it. I remember walking out onto the balcony and I climbed up on the like rafter parts of it. I put one hand on the wall like Spider-Man, the other was up on the railing. And I was like, I'm done. I just cannot take another day because I don't see a way out of this. This is not going to end well. And I remember looking down, and it's almost like God let me see everything. It was a foreshadowing of what could possibly happen. And when I looked down, I saw myself laying in blood. I saw the housekeeper run out. There were people pointing, saying, she jumped from there, she jumped from there. But the thing that changed my life was in the back of my mind. I heard my kids say, Mama, Mama, why did she jump? Why did Mama leave us? And I just remember jumping down because I was like, God, this is my lowest low. Like, I'm willing to end my life and leave my children with this man. And I just remember God, like, what do you want me to do? What should I do? And he said, grab your laptop. And I'm thinking, why do you need me to grab my laptop? Like, this is not the answer I'm looking for right now. And he said, put in domestic violence. And I put it in. And of course, Domestic Violence Awareness Hotline, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, like all these things come up. And I define, okay, I'm going to go domestic violence awareness. Bam. I keep scrolling. God says, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. I take the questionnaire at the end. I was devastated. Of the 17 things on the list, he had already done 15 to me. And it was like a ton of bricks fell on me because I thought, but I'm not that girl. I'm not the scene out of What's Love Got to Do with It. I'm not the abuse that people say. He's never poured gasoline on me and set me on fire. So I kept trying to justify in my head, but I'm not that girl. I'm not poor. I'm not uneducated. I'm an extrovert. Like, no, I'm not her. And the reality is I was her. And I started playing back in my mind how many times I've hidden bruises from my kids, or how many times my housekeepers have said, you know, Miss Kelly, are you okay? You're limping today. Oh, no, you know, it's fine. Oh, just dancing. All the times that I've lied to my children and said me and daddy were in there wrestling. And it started to play back in my head. And I thought, I can't leave them, and I can't stay with him. And I remember calling the number, and the young lady was so kind and so sweet, and she changed my life. But she asked me, how big are you? And I'm thinking, God, okay, with the jokes, enough already. How big? Why do you need to know? She said, no, just how big are you? I'm 5'3.5". At that time, I may have been 100 pounds, maybe. She said, how big is your abuser? I said, well, he's almost 6'2". And at that point, he was probably at 205 pounds. She said, let me tell you something, sweetheart. You're a little woman. That's a big man. Everything does not have to be a scene out of What's Love Got to Do with It. If he was to take you and slam you against a wall too hard, and you hit your head, and you go to sleep because you think you simply have a headache, and you bleed out in the brain because you've had an aneurysm and die in your sleep, everyone's going to say how sad he loved her so much and she died in her sleep. And when I say every light in the house went on,
Wow.
I thought, I'm done. Call my dad. What do I need to do? And she did instruct me. And anyone that's listening, this was life-saving for me. She said, do not change anything about your daily routine until you can get to a place of safety. If you told him yes, continue to say yes. If you make his coffee in the morning, make his coffee tomorrow morning, because that is the most crucial time when victims are trying to leave. That's the time when it typically turns into a fatality. So I took that to heart. And literally, when I got back to Chicago, he went to play basketball like he typically does. At this point, I'm hiding clothes in our pool area. I somehow got $2,500, was finding money where he would keep it, change, coins, got that together. And when he went and played basketball, I left in the middle of the night with my children. And my oldest daughter, Joanne, says she remembers the day that I left. She said, Mom, because I remember you came and got us and said, Noodle, who's my youngest son, Robert Kelly Jr., I said he was sick and we need to take him to the emergency room. He has a high fever. And my daughter says she never will forget that day. My dad met me up the street. I had talked to him. We had a point of contact. I let him know when I was leaving. But for those women out there that are listening to my voice, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was literally like a scene out of a scary movie. My hands were shaking so badly that I could not get the key in the ignition. And I'm thinking to myself, get it together, woman. You're like the blonde who's going to fall in the forest over the stump in the forest. Like, you cannot get it together. I just remember being so nervous, and I called my dad. And I said, Dad, I'm in the car. And he said, all right, pussycat, just listen to my voice. And I said, Daddy, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. He said, baby, just put it in drive and drive through that gate. And I remember Judge Dimple driving through that gate, and something came over me that said, you know what? I would rather die leaving this man than to know I died because I stayed. And I just had a calmness about me that I was like, this is it. And I left and never went back.
Wow. I can't even imagine that moment for you. The fear and the courage that you had to muster. It's really incredible and so powerful. And I think, it speaks to these questions that people have about, what we talked about, why people stay. I would have left. I wouldn't have put up with that. We hear people comment on domestic violence in ways that you and I both know don't make any sense, and they don't ring true for victims who have experienced this. And the courage that you had to show in that moment to leave that house, to walk out of there with your children. And thank goodness for that advocate who was able to safety plan with you and walk through all of that with you. And thank goodness for your father who was there. Yeah.
That, when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, that moment, and to think that it all started when you go all the way back to that day of sitting there looking at those photos with my daughter at the foot of the bed, not knowing that this little person would give me the courage, because I felt if I can't do it for me, I owe it to them as their mother to give them the best life possible and to protect them by all means. And this is what I'm going to have to do. And sometimes you do. My dad has this little saying, and it's on some of my Instagram, take fear with you. And I literally have a tattoo that says fearless on my arm. And I got it because I know when I fear less, when I feared Robert less, I would live a fearless life. And I wanted my children to know, it's not about the storm. That's not what I want my children to remember. It's how their mom came out of it. That's the important part. Awesome. And I know I share the details of my story because I just want women to know that it's so common, that there's nothing about your story that you should feel ashamed to go, well, you're the only one that's happening to, even down to, I'm going to bring up something that's very touchy. Spousal rape, marital rape. These are things that I have survived that women don't even think that it's even possible because it's my husband, but they don't understand. No one has the right to choke you and then make you have sex with them. That's not okay to put a gun on the pillowcase to intimidate you that you will have sex with them. It's not okay to coerce you into sexual acts when you're begging and pleading, please, I don't want to do this, and they're forcing you. So your only choices are either I do it or I'm going to get beat for not doing it. And people need to understand that domestic violence and abuse, it doesn't come with option A, walk away, option B, nice vacation, option C, physical, mental, emotional, sexual abuse. It's just abuse across the board. There are no choices. So I would hope that people watching will understand that as a victim, you don't have options and choices. You don't get to pick and choose which day they're going to be abusive. You don't get to pick and choose and say, oh, I'm not going to do that, and you're going to be nice about it today. You're constantly walking on eggshells. You don't know what you're going to get. But I know that there's so many women out there that they don't even equate the two, because they're thinking, well, rape is when you're walking down the street and this guy who smells like liquor covered in a ski mask pulls you in an alley. That's not what it is. So just if you could kind of explain the difference between the two, because I really want women to get that, because I feel like people also make women like me feel like, but if you guys had sex to have children, then what's the difference any other time? There's a big difference.
Well, and I think what happens is that people confuse the issue of consent. When you're married, all of a sudden people think, well, you don't get a choice. You don't get a voice. You don't get to say no. And that's absolutely not true. And I think that's one of the cornerstones of domestic violence is abusers silencing the victims in so many different ways, whether it is through economic or financial abuse, by not giving that person the ability to survive on their own without the abuser, whether it's threats of deportation, so that that person knows, you know what, my ability to stay in this country with my children is contingent upon my relationship with this person, or physical abuse, and yes, sexual abuse, which we don't talk about because it's embarrassing and it's intrusive and invasive. And there really isn't a platform for people to discuss this issue because no one wants to address the fact that it can happen, that a person can be raped, can be sexually abused, even in a marriage. And especially in a marriage where there is a power differential and a power dynamic and controlling behaviors. It can be used as a mechanism to abuse someone. And so, Drea, thank you for talking about that, because I think these are things that people need to hear, particularly people who are experiencing this right now. And, you know, when you're isolated, you don't get to hear from others. You don't get to share in their stories. You don't get to learn from them, which is why it is so critical, the work that advocates do. And you yourself now are an advocate. That source of information is freedom. Not having the information, not knowing that what is happening to you is wrong, is illegal, is unlawful, is abuse. That is where the abuser gets power. That isolation, that lack of information, that lack of freedom, lack of choice. And so this is why this conversation today is so critical, because someone will hear this and someone will relate and see, you know, that there are people out there who can help. And, you know, one thing that you and I can do after this conversation is provide resources. Certainly I can provide local resources here in Austin, Texas, and I know that you can do the same where you're at. I do want to talk about, you know, when we talk about you leaving, which was such a courageous and remarkable event in your relationship with R. Kelly, you actually sought a protective order shortly after leaving the relationship, but then you quickly, I think within a matter of weeks, maybe days, withdrew your request for a protective order. Why is that?
So here's the thing too about my relationship. People don't understand. I'm not going just against Robert, the man. I'm going up against Robert, the persona, R. Kelly, the persona. At that time, he's at the height of his career. That was a decision that was made on my behalf, because again, when you're in the abuse, you're fresh out of it, you're trying to get your footing. You don't know what's going on, where you're going to go, what's going to happen. They needed that to disappear, because you have to understand, he's also a moneymaker for a lot of people at that time, at the height of his career, when I did have my protective order. So it was brought to me, well, how can he take care of you? I mean, if you want to leave, that's your business. That's fine, what you want to do. But with this out here, how can he provide? He won't be able to book. Nobody's going to sell, you know, tickets for him. Nobody's going to buy tickets to his shows. And he has albums to sell and videos to make. So again, it was this thing of, we're going to sweep you under the rug. Let's make this go away. And we're just going to give a blanketed statement, which was not done with my permission. I believe it was something around the fact that, you know, right now, give us the privacy to work through our problems. It's like, no, I'm gone. I'm done. There's no problems to work through. If you're going to be honest, then put Drea left because of the abuse, but it was irreconcilable differences and they're just working through it and give them their privacy. But again, that wasn't for me. That was because they're protecting their cash cow. At the end of the day, at that time, he was still signed to Jive. So you are still a persona to them. They could care less about Drea. They could care less about my 3 children. They could care less about my well-being. It's about make that disappear. That needs to go away. So I was treated like many of his victims that they have settled out of court. And again, people need to realize the responsibility that they put on me, at the end of the day, he has a team of people working for him. So be realistic, people. If he's settling with people out of court, do you honestly think that his lawyer said, well, let's pull his wife in and see how much does he think we should settle for? These are the things that are being done behind closed doors. He's keeping me separated, isolated, and abused so that I have no idea with him, his accountant, there's a manager, there's security, there's the record label, there's record executives, there are promoters. All these people are on his team, and they're protecting what? R. Kelly, the persona, because that's what puts money in their pockets. So they could care less about me and what's going on with me. So a lot of things that were done, underhandedly done, with me not knowing, again, I'm not on his bank accounts. There's not an account that you will ever find where Andrea Kelly's on it. There's no bank that I could walk into. I'm not receiving bank statements. Again, his attorneys aren't sitting with me going, okay, well, Drea, he has to settle with 3 more women. We just want to see, are you okay with the amount we're going to settle with? So a lot of things that I was dealing with at that time, I got to the point where I really was like, I don't care, as long as I'm just away from you, it doesn't even matter to me. I don't need to speak about you. I don't want to talk about it. But it got to the point when I came forward in 2018, it became I cannot not talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Seeing one of his victims on television, Geronda Pace, somebody I've never met in my entire life. That was the first time I even heard her name. But to watch her on the reel and give details of the abuse that were so parallel and so identical to what he'd done to me, it was like, again, it felt like another ton of bricks fell on me, because I thought to myself, well, hold on, how would she know that? Because that's like, it literally was like looking in a mirror. There's no way she would know that, because that's exactly what he did to me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, are there more? And I just felt like, okay, because she is a Black woman in America, and I know that it is touchy and hard and we don't want to be real, but I also say we have to be real with it and deal with it so we can heal from it as America. A Black woman is the lowest on the totem pole. And here she is. This has been going on for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. She goes on the reel and tells her story, and still no one's listening. Then I started seeing where other women have come forward. They've gone to the police. In Chicago, there's records of women. No one's listening. And I thought, well, if I lend my voice, I can give some validity to these women's stories, because hopefully people would take from it. She's been away from him almost 15 years. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to gain by coming forward, and I don't want anything from him. This is about helping women and lending a voice, especially to women of color, because I feel like if my name was Hannah and I was blonde hair, blue eyes, living in the suburbs of Chicago, he would have got one chance, one. And it doesn't make sense to me that it takes the story of 30 Black women to get the attention for people to even think to do a documentary about surviving the abuse at that man's hands. So it was very important for me to lend my voice, just so I felt like people would say, well, wait a minute. These women do not know each other, and she was married to him. Now, if the wife has gone through it, we need to open our eyes and pay attention.
Yeah. And was that the reaction you were getting? Because you and I both know, and we talked about this before, that domestic violence does disproportionately affect communities of color. And why do you think that is? First of all, I would love to hear you talk about that. And also just, the fact that you had to tell your story to validate the experiences of these other young women who were abused by him. That's a tremendous responsibility that you took on. And how did that feel to you? Was it liberating? Was it disheartening? I imagine that it was scary at times.
All of the above. It was liberating to just know that after all these years, I've never said a word. People never, first of all, a lot of people were even shocked. And when I did Hollywood Exes, they were like, hold on, he's married? Wait a minute, we didn't even know he was married and has children. Oh, wow, that was a shock to everyone. But to know not only was he married and he was being abusive to me and so many other women, it was liberating. It was disheartening at the same time, because coming forward and wanting to lend my voice for women of color, those were the ones who attacked me the most. And it took a lot of soul searching, lots of therapy, lots of crying, lots of praying and burning sage to just understand. I get that mentality. I get that mindset, because for us thinking, here's a man from the south side of Chicago who couldn't read, and he beat the odds and he became an icon in our community. How dare her take the one thing that we really don't get recognition for?
Yeah.
Black men in this world don't get recognition for the great that they do, from it being a father to an entertainer to a politician. So I had to really separate and take my emotions out of it and go, I understand why. Though it's wrong what you're thinking, I understand why. Because it was the mindset of, you were a brown girl from the south side of Chicago, he was a brown boy from the south side of Chicago, and you both made it out. Why would you want to bring him down? But I think that the focus needs to shift. It should not be, why did Drea bring him down? Because I didn't bring him down. If anything, I feel like I'm lifting you up. I'm making you be responsible for your life. We all have choices. And just because you were abused does not mean you now get a license to be an abuser. You have to choose to do the work. You have to choose to get the counseling. The help is out there. And that solely lies on him. I can't want his healing more than he does. So people need to A, understand that. B, coming to me as if that is my job to be the gatekeeper. That is the problem, especially in our community. We think that we're protecting our little girls when we say, oh, well, you know, Uncle Johnny's coming to the barbecue, so don't sit on his lap and don't go in a back room with him. That's not protecting our children. Not inviting Uncle Johnny to the picnic and the barbecues and the family gatherings is protecting our children. Not making them feel it is their responsibility to keep themselves protected from an abuser.
Right.
And I think that that's a conversation that we don't have in my community, because then that means somehow, from the moms to the aunts to the cousins, I now look like I'm responsible. I fell short. And guess what? You did. And it's okay. But once we own that, now we know what to do moving forward in protecting our children, protecting our women in our communities. But until we're willing to take responsibility and say, taking responsibility does not equate that you're wrong. And I think when people do that, they feel like, well, yeah, I knew he was abusive, or yeah, I knew he was molesting little kids in our family, and me admitting it means that I'm wrong. No, that means now you're taking responsibility, and there's a way to change it. We can break that bloodline curse, that thing that we always say, don't air the dirty laundry. We need to, our voice, it's our power. And once you speak it, you free so many people. And when you speak a voice of support, and a lot of people did not do that for me. They came at me, of course, said I was lying. I don't know any sane nor insane woman with 3 children who have been separated. Like for me, I've been separated from the situation well over 10 years. And to put myself in the line of fire, do you honestly think I would just sit up one day and make it up and be like, let me see, let me say he abused me and let's see what happens. That was the hardest thing, because I knew what I go through, my children would have to go through. And people don't realize either, it's not a win situation for me, because at the end of the day, I wear 2 hats. Not only am I his victim, I'm also his ex-wife and the mother of his children. So I do know him sitting behind bars means, no, you're not working, which means you can't pay child support, which means you're not helping to take care of our 3 children. But I do know this, at the end of the day, I would rather give up child support than to have someone else's life be sacrificed. I would rather him sit behind bars and not have the money, which allows him to have a team and record labels and a whole group of people helping him to stay sick,
right,
than to just be out free. So at the end of the day, even my children lose, because now they've gone from having a father who was an icon, whose now name becomes infamous for crazy mess in the world, whose father is now an inmate. He's a statistic at this point. He's in the system. So it's not an easy thing for me or my children. So when people look at it as, oh, well, I don't understand why she's coming forward, it's not fun. It's nothing you sign up for. This isn't camp. This isn't yoga. It's not a retreat. Because now I understand that this is ongoing work that I will probably do for the rest of my life, and I'm okay with it. And I've also accepted that those who judge, that victim shame and victim blame, don't even realize they make it that much harder for women to come forward, because they feel like, if that's what I have to face, I will not tell my story.
right, right. Well, and I think your story is so powerful. it's time that we stop discounting the voices of survivors. And you telling your story and having the courage to talk about it, despite the criticism, despite the accusations of having a hidden agenda or some ulterior motive, the fact that you're out there and you're an advocate for other survivors who have gone through this, it's empowering, and we need more of that. And you touched on the fact that domestic violence is something that does disproportionately affect women of color, communities of color, and the statistics support that. But I think that part of the problem has been that we haven't really been given the space to have the conversation. And I'm glad that you're demanding that space and that time, and that you are enabling others to examine what's happening in their relationships and look at it through a different lens. And so thank you so much for that. I know we're coming up on an hour. There's so much, I could talk to you forever.
I know, I could be here forever. We have to do this again. We have to do this again. Yes, because one thing I was going to say too, people that sometimes they attack, and I have so much grace and love and understanding that it took me a while to get here, though. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like, it's okay, I understand. It was very hard. I had to step out of it. I took my emotions out of it, and I said to myself, but you know what, Drea? Some of these people that are attacking you right now, they don't even realize that they're in abusive relationships. It just hasn't become physical yet. They don't even realize that they're in the middle of the mental abuse. They're in the middle of the verbal abuse. They're in the middle of the financial and economic abuse. They don't even realize it. So they are so disconnected from it that they think, oh, a push or a shove here or there, or arguing, or, well, as women have been conditioned to believe, well, when you get married, you're not supposed to hang with your friends, because that's what we're conditioned. And even if we take it back, let me say this, as little girls, when we are on the playground and little Johnny pulls your hair and you run and tell the teacher, the first thing they tell us as little girls, oh, he's doing that because he likes you. We're being conditioned as little girls to even believe that love and affection come with violence. So as we get older, a push here, a shove here, grabbing my hair, grabbing my phone and throwing it and not wanting me to be around other guys. Well, what are the first thing that older women in your lives tell you? Well, now that you're married, you're not going to be able to hang out with your friends like you used to. Or now that you're a mom, you're not going to be able to dress the way you used to. So now we end up with this controlling, abusive man who tells us you can't hang out with your friends like you used to. You can't wear the clothes that you used to. We don't know the difference. So I said all that to say that I do understand that some people who are verbalizing their disdain with me for coming forward, if they really took a step back and looked at their relationship, they might find like, oh, wow, I didn't know when he calls me stupid, when he calls me a B, when he pushes me, that's abusive, because I saw my mom and dad do it. So I thought this was normal. And I would hope that that's what they take from me, that it was eye-opening and they learned something, that this just is not about clout. This is not about, having a platform to ride his coattails, as I've been told. Because at the end of the day, I will say this, and I understand what I bring to the table. He didn't have a Grammy before he met me, and he hasn't had one since I've been gone. So that tells me a lot about what I brought to the table as a wife, as a mother, someone that prays for him, that cares for him, that I didn't just come to the table like, da, 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 never been on a plane, this is my first time here. And even if it was, why do women have to have, I feel like we wear this scarlet letter that even if that was, then you deserve the abuse that you got. It's crazy.
Well, let me ask you one last question before we have to go. You dealt with so many different systems in your relationship with him, and especially when you left the relationship, whether it was going through the courts seeking a protective order, or seeking child support or custody, or dealing with the media, dealing with so many of the incredible burdens that you had to bear as the wife of a celebrity. I'm curious to know from you, what do you think could have helped you along the way? The experience of a survivor in general. What things in our systems need to change and improve so that we can really address what is happening in our communities to victims of domestic violence?
Judge Dimple, if I would have had a judge like you, who has an understanding of the ins and outs of domestic violence and what it looks like, so much would have been, so much would be different. Like I think about, here I am in family court before this male judge, and you're telling me that I must facilitate visitation with this man who is also my abuser. So what happens between the pickup and the drop off if things get volatile and he kills me and the children? So when they don't have an understanding of domestic violence and how it works, you're initially putting that victim and the children back in harm's way when you don't take into account that there.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And you know, I do think even one step further, I think that in all of our systems, we need to be aware of this issue. The Center for Disease Control has labeled domestic violence a public health crisis. And because it's a public health crisis, we as a community, whether it's educators in schools, whether it's counselors in our public schools, whether it's doctors' offices, I mean, people who are in our community who come face to face with victims or survivors of domestic violence need to understand the complexities and nuances that are involved in these cases, so that we are able to utilize that opportunity where we come face to face with someone who's experiencing something like this, and maybe provide that person with an opportunity or a glimpse of light or information that could be life-saving, right? You know, and so I agree with you. I think that probably all of our systems need to, we need to be educated. We need to know about this. And I think that's why you're such an integral part of our community. Your voice is so empowering. And I thank you for the courage you show every time you talk about this, because it is difficult. You are putting yourself out there, and I know, you know, people can be mean and spiteful and make accusations that are baseless. And so, but you know, far more than that, the impact that you're having on people who don't have a voice right now is so powerful. And so keep doing it, keep telling your story, and thank you for sharing it with me tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for doing what you do. Like I say, so many women, I would just go out on a limb and say so many women, if we would have had a judge like you, then going in, because people don't realize when you walk in that courtroom, you're being re-victimized all over again. You have to tell your story. And not only are you telling your story, I'm telling it with my abuser sitting to my left or my right. So the fear that you have, and even thinking, I have to get out of this courtroom and home safe. What happens then? What if I've said something in the courtroom that has now pissed him off, and all of a sudden he's sitting in my driveway? They don't understand. But knowing, if we had you, someone that we could go, she gets it and she understands it, that this is not just, oh, a cry for attention, that this is life threatening. It is. This could be the end of my erection. Because for a lot of victims, we just don't have to, we don't know what to do. We think, do we call the police and that's it? Like having an order of protection, I thought to myself, well, it's not bullying. one for the details, because we know the gory details of what domestic violence look like, and we know that sometimes it ends in memorials. But I just want women to know that you will smile again, that you can love like I'm still a helpless romantic. You can get to that place, and it's work, and there's going to be hard days. And just knowing that, don't think that you're not healing and you're not moving forward if you're triggered, because it's going to happen. If you cry sometimes, if you feel like you're going to the dark place, because sometimes that's where that healing takes place, in the dark. And it's okay. When you think about a butterfly, like I have a butterfly on my hip, I have one on my foot, like it's a part of my logo. I just think of how this caterpillar had to go to the dark place in that cocoon alone, just you and God, or whoever your spiritual higher being is, in the dark. That's where that butterfly got its wings. And when you come out of that thing, you're going to be able to fly. I am living proof. And guess what? I do it every day. And some days I fly with my mascara running, but I still fly. Yes, tears and all, but I still fly.
It's still flying. Well, thank you so much, Drea. I really appreciate your time. And you're right. I mean, your message is so strong. And, you know, men, women, and children experience domestic violence. I always say it's not a woman's issue. It's a human issue. And
Yes.
It affects so many families, so many lives. And so having you here has been just an incredible thing for me tonight. So thank you. And we will definitely do this again. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you.
All right. Well, you take care. Have a good night.
You too. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Drea.
Well, guys. Hold on. All right. Okay. Guys, don't it seem like it's a setup? Don't it seem like it's a setup? Right before, the judge, just a couple of days ago, there was a deadline for everybody to submit the stuff. Then, the other judge has that appeal. Then, Bill Cosby situation. Bill Cosby won the ability to be able to go to get an appeal, get appeal. And then all of a sudden, Drea comes out the woodwork. And Azriel's house or car, whatever, is on fire. What do y'all think? Tell me. What do you think is going on, guys? What do you think is really going on? What do you think? All of a sudden, she comes out. She has not been speaking in a while. She had court on Tuesday. And they postponed her court. So what do you think is going on? It's a setup, isn't it, guys? To me, it seems like a setup. Because remember, we're hearing all this good news as a possibility for Rob, right? Then these vultures come out of the woodwork. Why? Yeah, exactly, Randa. Why would you take a picture and pose it in front of your car that was just set on fire? Yeah. Why? Why would you do that? Guys, it's a setup. And she probably got some money to do this. Because why would a judge who is running for a position interview someone, a judge in another state, in Texas, guys, Austin, Texas? That's where this judge is from. Why? I just happened to be scrolling through my Facebook and I saw her name on something. And I said, oh, what? She's being interviewed by a judge. Let me take a look at this. So that's why I said, okay, let me have a live and show some of this shenanigan that's going on. Bunch of bull, bunch of craziness. Why? Why in the world would all of this start happening tonight? All of a sudden. That means something's about to happen good for Rob. What do you think? It's a distraction. It's a way for them to pull the coattails of the judges in Illinois and also the one in New York. because it's kind of weird how she just come out all of a sudden talking about domestic violence and started talking about how you notice how she named Deronda, right? You notice how she named her. Yeah, that's what Phoenix. I agree with you. She's probably messing with somebody's boyfriend. That's why they set the car fire. But why would you take a picture of it? Why would you take a picture of the car being set that was set on fire and put it on your Instagram or Facebook, wherever she put it at? Because she wants to be the story. They want to be the focus, not Rob. Because Bill Cosby is the focus of everything right now, and all these praises and things of injustice that's happening to black men. Now they coming out. They're coming out the woodwork. Yeah, I'm gonna get my phone ready for you guys to call in, because I want to hear you guys' opinion on this. Okay. Let me put in my phone number in this here. 470. I need to hear your opinion, because this is the weirdest thing. Call in. Let's hear you guys voice your opinion about this whole craziness, foolishness. All of a sudden, all these people coming out now. I won't be surprised if Deronda Pace is next. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised. Okay, call in, guys. Call on in. This is crazy. Absolutely. Jasmine, he is in my prayer also. Because this is some foolishness. And let me see if I have, hold on a second. Hey, man.
What's up, girl?
Hey. You saw the shenanigan that's going on, right?
Huh?
Oh, you see the shenanigan. Hold on, someone's calling in. Hold on. Hi, you just reached Infamous Sylvia Show. How may I help you?
Hi. Hi, Susie.
Hi.
This is Don. I'm just calling in because I find it funny how, every time that there's some type of court date or, anything that's positive regarding, R. Kelly, all these women start coming out doing interviews, talking to random, bloggers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now she's talking to a judge. I've never heard of that. That a judge is just, especially that's running. Usually it's retired judges or retired, police or retired detectives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're the ones who are giving their 2 cents, giving their experience and whatnot. And so I just think that that's very odd. Because like you said, I haven't heard Drea speaking, in a while.
Yep.
Or follow her. I did see she did a live. I think this was like a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
For like Instagram, and she was kind of answering questions. And then I was, when I was listening to it, it's just funny to me how she always says that, before her, R. Kelly had no Grammys, and then after her, he had no Grammys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying that she's the one who made him, which is inaccurate because in '95 he came out with his first, the R. Kelly album, with the Trade in My Life and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she was around at that time. I don't know the exact years and whatnot, but that came out, and then the R came out, and that was the one with all the hits. And she wasn't even around at that point, and so because she just barely divorced him, I think in like 2010 or 20.
Yeah, you're right. 2020 is when she got divorced.
Yeah, so they were together, I think, for like 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was around somewhere in there, but what boggles my mind is that she always says, this man has a sickness, he's this, he's that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question to her is, why didn't you help? If you're such a real woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you get this man help? Why did you let it continue? Why did you continue to have kids with this? Because I know me, I mean, I'm a dude, but I'm not about to have 3, 4, 5 kids with a girl, a chick who, you know what I mean, who I don't think can raise a kid right.
Yeah, and why no police report?
Or
Dom, why no police report of all of this abuse?
it's just all word of mouth, and I think that's wrong. And as a dude, like I have a girl, but it's when I was single, it's scary to be out here messing with 2, 3, 4 different women. I'm not a lesbian, I'm not a star, but you know what I mean. You got to be careful because now they just going off of, oh, he touched me wrong, or oh, he raped me, or whatever the case is, and then they going off all word of mouth. And so I think that's wrong. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
And also, this week she was supposed to be in court on the 23rd.
For what, child support?
Well, what happened is I think Steve did a thing where she was supposed to be going to jail, but because COVID, they postponed it. It was supposed to be May 1st, but then they postponed it, and it was supposed to be yesterday, the 23rd. And I was looking online, and I noticed that they didn't post anything about it. So I'm assuming that they postponed it again because the court's not really open like it, functioning a full.
Like usually is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I just think every time that he's trying to get a bail or whatever the case is, they always just start coming out because they know something could potentially happen. That he could potentially get a bail.
Yeah.
And I just think it's, like you said, it's just set up. And then I also I wanted to email you something. I found I was online on Instagram and I found stuff. I wanted to send it to you.
Okay, I'll put in my email.
It was pretty funny, but
I'll put in my email for you to get it to me.
Okay, cool. And then also regarding the Azrael situation, I think she's funny. She always is doing stuff for clout, attention. She probably thought she was gonna get. She's so I don't like to call people names, but she's so dumb. I feel like she thinks she could get her insurance on her car. Who knows? That might not even been her car. Just be doing this for attention.
Yeah.
But let's say it is her car, right? She's not gonna get the insurance money for it. You can't just take a picture in front of her. I mean, you can, but they're gonna think the insurance, company. They're gonna think, why would you do that? And it wasn't like she was sad. She was just happy, laughing. Like something's wrong with her. Like I really think something mentally is unstable with that girl.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bash her, but that's just what it is. I wish she was in the car. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, you are so mean.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with you. This is, to me, it looks like a setup. That's what it looks like right now, because everything is turning around for Robert, and now all of a sudden, all this bull popping up.
Right. It just seems like, and then also too, what is kind of odd is that, like I said, every time something is coming out, all of these accusers start coming out. I feel like they're really working with each other.
Yeah, they are. And she said they didn't know each other. Yes, they did. Her and Lisa knew each other.
Right. I believe they do. And I mean, honestly, I mean, she was married to that man for 13, 14 years. She said she didn't see nothing. She didn't see him have numerous girls. She knew he had girlfriends. I feel like she was, you know what I mean? She was around. She knew there's no way that he had a girlfriend or two. Like, she tries to just play so stupid. Like, it irritates the hell out of me. Because she tries to act so dumb. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, and someone said that she was like, she had just said, I thought she said that she was in the hotel room and was about to go out on the ledge of the room, and then God called out to her to stop.
She is a damn lie, and then also too, regarding the kids, I mean, I didn't even know he had, a song with her. I know he was like in the studio with her and stuff, but with his daughter. It's like a different name. It's called "Wanna Be There," and that song is so dope. Like I think it was on the 2015 album. You guys go and look at it. It's called "Wanna Be There." And the name is different. It doesn't say Buku. It's another name with an A. And man, her voice sounds amazing, you know. And you can just tell that listening to their. I mean, it's a song, but you can tell that. I mean, he's not going to do a song that he doesn't, you know, think is good. He's not going to do that. He's a perfectionist. So you can hear the emotion in the song, like, and that was back in 2015. That's 5 years ago, but it's just I could tell that they want a relationship with their father, and I even think
they're weird now. You see how they acting?
Yeah.
Did you see some of their pages? I'm like, wow, what is going on with the children? Because you never see them like this before. Not until she's have control over them. They are so like gothic.
Right. It's so weird. Like I've never seen them act like that. I mean, now they're a little older, so now you really see. You know, when they're going through high school, people always go through phases. But when they're getting older, 18, 19, that's usually when they're more normal. And it just seems weird. Like I feel like they wouldn't be like. I think their mom is just putting all this stuff into their head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's making them hate their father. I think had she just been a supportive mother. Hey, if you guys would like to even visit your dad, if you want a relationship with your dad, I'm a supportive mom, whatever it is, no matter the circumstance. That's the type of parent I'm going to be. You know what I mean? I don't care what the parent has been through, whatever the case is. I want my kid to have a relationship with their parents, especially these days. A lot of fathers aren't even there. But he wanted to be there for his
the other thing too, she don't understand the damages she's doing to the children.
Right.
There's damage.
Actually messing them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're gonna have so much resentment and hate in their heart. I mean, I don't know how old the youngest one is.
I think he's 18 now. He just turned 18 last year.
So they're grown, But maybe later, I would say if they were like kids small, when they get grown, that's when they would really. But I think probably by the time they're 30, when a little bit more stuff plays out, I think they're really gonna start to be like, start not hating their mom, but like asking like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? That's at the end of the day, that's my father, no matter the circumstance. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you so much, Don, for calling. Someone just put my email in the chat, so could you guys put it back in there again for him to get my email?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna send it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Don. All right.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, guys. Anybody else would like to call in and voice your opinion about what we just watched? And a lot of people say, okay, why do you play this? I did not know that was coming on, and I just happened to be scrolling through Facebook, and I happened to see this. And I think we do need to know what's happening. Hold on a second. There's another call. Hi, this is Infamous Sylvia. So, how may I help you?
Hi, Sylvia. This is Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Now, this stuff that's going on is a bunch of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, it's a bunch of crap. You got, number one, you got Azriel's car burning up.
Mm-hmm.
You know that was a setup. Somebody or her did that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna make it seem like Rob had something to do with it. Okay, that's what it's gonna look like. And as for the ex-wife, she just needs to go sit down somewhere and mind her own business, because if there was a paper trail, put it like this: there's a video out on YouTube of one of his concerts. If he was so much of an abusive husband, why would he bring his kids to the show and introduce his kids to the whole wide world?
Yep. I agree.
Okay, nobody's looking at that. And for her to say, oh, well, the man judge, okay, what you got against men, period? What do you got against men, period? Like, number two, does anybody know where her other ex-husband is and why he divorced her? Has anybody asked that question?
I think he's with Mama D. I think he's
paying alimony to the second husband.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I think he's with Mama D. I think that's what was said the last time I heard about him.
Okay, so what's wrong with that picture? So who's the abusive person now? Something's not right with this whole story. And for her to sit up there and say that he was abusive, why would you leave him in the middle of the night with your kids? You walked out on him.
But meanwhile, he divorced you.
Exactly. So does that make any sense to anybody? I mean, please help me because don't make sense to me. And there's no paper trail whatsoever on these people that are claiming they're victims. None.
Yeah.
Drea don't have a paper trail. Yolanda don't have a paper. There's no paper trail. Period.
Yeah.
When are people going to wake up and realize that? There's nothing that proves that he did anything to these people. None.
Yeah.
And I'm a complete stranger and I see it.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, it's funny how there's like a narrative trying to be pointed at Rob when they're not putting the narrative on the right people. Okay? For her to say that I don't understand why all these women are coming out with the same story. The same story? Apparently, you were around them. They heard you say it first. Come on. To Lifetime. Y'all all were on Lifetime. Y'all all told the same freaking story.
Yep.
Okay? Y'all was all brainwashed by whoever told y'all the story. And number two, it was from a book. Y'all all read the same freaking book.
Yep.
Okay? Make that make sense. I mean, does that make sense to anybody?
Not me.
I didn't think so. It don't make sense to me either. You know, it don't make any sense whatsoever. And you know, like the other caller said, there's going to be more of these women coming out speaking. For what? They ain't been heard all month.
Yeah.
They ain't been heard since the last time she did an interview.
And you know they're doing it right before the answers come out from the judges. That is when they're doing it.
They're scared of because they're trying to put a narrative that Rob is bad. And Robert is not bad whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're trying to paint a narrative that they're victims and they want something done when technically Robert's the one that's the victim.
I'm just curious why a judge would be interviewing her. I'm just curious.
That's another thing. That's the other thing. Is that even legal?
I don't know. Is that legal? Angie, you're in this chat. Is it legal for a judge to interview someone that is she part of a case or while a case is going on?
If I'm not mistaken, there's a guy going on the case.
I thought so too. I really did.
Okay, make that make sense. I don't think it's right for another judge to be interviewing anybody. Now that's going to make it seem that, okay, this judge is going to talk to this judge is going to talk to another judge. When's it going to stop? They are really trying to hang him. For what? Because he's the nicest person in the world? That because he shows sincerity Okay, that he cares a lot about women and what they go through. I mean, why would he? If that was the case, he wouldn't be out here now. If he was such a bad person, or quote unquote a monster, as they put it, come on, people, he is not a monster.
I think she's still scorned from him not being with her anymore, and also, you know, with this case that she has at court. Remember when Steve admitted that she's gonna go to jail? She probably bitter for that situation too.
And she needs to go to jail.
So is it the judge in the case interview? Oh no, it's not the judge in the case. No, Angie. No, it's a judge that's running a position in Austin, Texas. She's already a judge, but she's running, I guess, rerunning for her position. Because I see her campaigning.
I don't think that's right for another judge to be interviewing somebody that's in the case.
I don't know.
That's just like
the strangest thing is happening in this case. Strangest things is happening. Stuff that I've never heard of before.
I mean, really, who does that? I've never heard of it either. That's just like when this first started. The district attorney, what's her name?
Kim Fox. Kim Fox.
Yeah. Who goes out and asks for people to come forth? They don't do that. I've never heard it done. Okay. Now, the police will do it if they're looking for a victim or the suspect. But a district attorney won't do that. Is not supposed to do that.
The police usually ask if you know any information about the situation that has happened.
Exactly.
Please come forward with any information.
And they usually set up a 1-800 number or a 900 number or whatever, so you could call in. But the district attorneys don't do that. It's usually set up to the police to do.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, I think, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And this whole thing is like, this reminds me of a movie. Okay. It's like watching a movie. You don't know what the ending plot is going to be. It's like a suspense movie.
Yep.
And this is, I swear, there is too much going on in the world to be going through this.
She seems very bitter and scorned. That's what she seemed like, a scorned ex-wife.
I think she's not being honest with herself. And that's the reason why I say that is because you know how she mentioned about her dad? I'm wondering if she was abused by her grandfather or her dad.
Sounds like it.
Because that's what I picked up on. Because I know what it's like to be sexually abused by your grandfather, and I know what it's like to be sexually abused by your stepdad. So that's what it sounds like to me.
And why is okay? Remember, she says that when her father came to the house, security came and escorted him out. So why this didn't come out before? Yeah, why didn't this come out before? Why didn't you say anything about this?
You know what? And she done changed her story. Remember how she said she was about to jump? She never mentioned that it was during a hurricane season. I don't know if anybody caught that, but yeah, she done changed her story several times.
Andy said it is legal. Andy said it is legal for them to do that as long as not the judge in the case. Even with a gag order, Angie. Even with a gag order. Because there is a gag order in the state. Illinois has a gag order.
Yeah, it shouldn't be talked about. It's not supposed to be talked about through any case. I mean, through anything.
I didn't think so, but Angie would tell us.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there's a gag order on the whole situation.
Well, I know the state has, but I don't know about federal. I know the state had a gag. The Judge Flood put a gag order on it.
And they're about to get a rude awakening when they find out that he's innocent.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to happen. You asked me earlier, would I be able to make it to New York?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Why?
I want to go because number one, I used up all my vacation time, and I'm a security guard, and number two is I really don't have the funds for it.
Gotcha. I understand.
I mean, I would if I could.
Well, I'll try to go live where I can go live. Now that I'm trying this little live thing with YouTube.
Okay. But yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
None whatsoever. And Drea needs to just go sit her old ass down somewhere. She just mad because she can't get nobody now.
Okay, Georgia Girl says, I do not talk about that. So I'm sorry. I do not talk about, but I was abused at 8 by a relative, and my dad wanted to kill him. So if her dad knew something about her, oh, sure, he would have stepped to R. Kelly. That's
Exactly.
true. That's true.
That doesn't make any sense. So either Rob was trying to protect her from her dad.
That sounds like it is to me.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. Okay. And she mentioned something else that I wanted to speak on, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, that's what it sounds like to me, that she had issue either with her grandfather or her dad.
Sounds like it.
Which she's using Rob to take it out on.
Yep.
Because anytime I remember in one of the interviews, I can't remember whose live it was, where they was talking about how he had the airspace cleared so he could drop over 100 teddy bears or whatever over the house.
That was I think Kip was telling us that story. Kip was telling that, and it was on one.
He was so much of an abusive person. Why would he do that? Why would he go out and buy a horse for his daughter? Why would he go out and buy a dog? I mean, it don't make no sense. None of this does.
Someone asked, and someone said, I respect no woman that turned their children against their father so that she can capitalize. What happened to her marijuana shop? Did it go belly up already? I think she got in trouble. That was the reason why she was going to court on the 23rd, because she was misusing that money. That money is not supposed to be used to be buying drugs.
What?
Yeah, she bought some marijuana with the money, with the child support money.
Wait a minute. So Drea was using the money to start a marijuana shop?
Okay, if the interview takes place in a courtroom setting, then the gag order will not be in violation. No, the interview was done on live, Angie. It was done on a live.
And it wasn't in no courtroom.
No courtroom. It was done live. A few minutes ago, I was on there with it. You can go back and look at the interview once this is over with. And sorry, someone says, how sorry to hear that, Georgia Girl. But yes, somebody would have been blue and black.
And see, back then, when people got abused, not a lot of kids spoke up about it because they didn't want their moms to blame them. Yeah.
Also, You Digging Me just said, orders are as a way to restrict the information about the case may become available to media outlet in both civil and criminal case. Then she said,
well, I still don't think it's right for her to be talking to a judge that doesn't even have anything to do with the case.
And then the thing is, she slipped stuff about the case into the interview.
Exactly.
Yeah, because she was supposed to be talking just about domestic violence, and then all of a sudden she's talking about Geronda. She talked about the other women and stuff like that.
Right. Who does that? I mean, that's not right. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the chat and I'll let somebody else call in.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Michelle, for calling in.
No problem.
All right. Enjoy your evening, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, you can call in. The number is 470-444-1957. 470-444-1957. That is the call in if you want to call in and voice your opinion in regards to what we watched with Drea, with the interview with the judge. What is your opinion about it? Oh, you said read those together? Okay, you take me. Okay, it says, ordered as a way to restrict what information about the case may become available to the media outlet in both civil and criminal cases. The court personnel who are in the courtroom during the trial are also typically expected to follow suit during the gag order. Thank you. Alrighty. Who was being interviewed? It was Drea. Drea was being interviewed. She was on a live. Okay. Okay, she is trying to buy the judge over with the interview because the judges talk regardless. That is so true. You're right. We probably need to go check that judge out and see if she has connection with the judge in New York. That might be our homework, guys. She says as long as Dre is not part of the case, she can talk about the case. Gag orders are made for parties in the case. You missed the first one, but hopefully they've seen it. I don't know which one you're talking about. You taking me? Let me go back up. I don't know which one it was. I didn't read the right one. I think it's too far up now. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, that is what I just said. Just got done saying that it shouldn't be right for another judge because all communicate with each other. That is so true. Most judges do communicate with each other. And then, okay, guys, I got another call coming in. Hi, you have just reached the infamous Sylvie Show. How may I help you?
Hi, Sylvia. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think we need to set a time for these calls. You know, folks be talking for a long time. I've been to forget what I'm going to say.
Okay. We're going to limit to what? 4 minutes? 4 minutes of talk?
Okay, well, I'm going to be real quick.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, you know, all this time, Drea had all this time to say what she wanted to say about R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she waited till all those other women come out to say something. If he abused her, she was on Hollywood Exes. She had a voice then. Why didn't she say something then?
Absolutely right. You're right.
And why didn't she take her husband's last name, the one that she the one that she married? Why didn't she do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why is she still in Kelly's name? Kelly's name?
Mm-hmm. You're right. She should have went back to her maiden name.
Right. Exactly. And I don't understand all of that. I'm just saying, you know, all this time, she's been married to him all this time. So you mean to tell me you didn't have a voice? All those years? You wasn't around her all the time. So you didn't have a voice? What is up with that? I don't get it. I just don't understand that. But, you know. And then I think that she manipulating those children's minds to think that their father is this and that. And you should never do that to a child. you should let them let them have their own feelings about their father.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Absolutely. That is not her place to make her children feel the same thing as she's feeling. It has nothing to do with the children. Their relationship is totally different.
Exactly, because I believe that he is a loving father, and I believe that he do love his children.
But it's so unfair that she's
I don't see why he wouldn't love his children. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. From what I've seen, because I've never been to any of his concerts, but the things I've seen on the internet, I've always seen Joanne with him, and I've seen the other one with him on one show that I was watching. And all the kids came out. I didn't see the baby at the time, but I saw the two girls, and they were waving at the crowd.
Right. Yeah. So, but that's all I want to just say. I ain't gonna say too much because I don't want to, prolong this. But I love you.
Love you too, Toy. All right.
Bye.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Yes. Phoenix, Rising Phoenix. You're right. She is an opportunist. But did you hear what she said? When she said that she gave the voice to the women that were going to come out against them. She gave her voice. Ponder on that statement for a minute. So she is the one that started the lynching mob against her husband, her ex-husband. She's the one, and I guarantee you, whatever happens to her for doing that, because you're supposed to protect your family regardless. She still wants him, and he don't want her. That's true. I agree. He doesn't want her. Yep, she sure did use the kids as a pawn. And look, remember, he moved from Chicago to Georgia when she moved to Georgia to be close to his kids. He did whatever he can just to make sure he was around his children. What did I tell you? That means she was the one who started this. Yep, Dom. Yep, she was. I pray his kids follow their own mind and reach out to him. She ain't no real woman. Exactly, Sylvia. All the women that were involved in the case, she gave the boys to because they all gave a voice to because they all have the same story. That is true. He moved to Atlanta for her and them kids. Absolutely. I feel she abused him. Yes, Elizabeth. He was the one abused. And he's still being abused by so many people. I hope they can reach out to their father at some point. He needs them and they need him. Yep, I agree. Sylvia, I think one of her other kids is actually transgender because that's what she said in the interview. Yeah, I think it's the middle child. Jay, I think that's the name. Yeah, she's a narcissist. Yep. Yeah, she is. So if he was an abusive dad, he would have never done that. That is so true. He would have went on about his business. He would have not been trying to be close to his kids. And one abuser continued to pay for the children's well-being after age 18. That tells you a lot about him. That he loves his children. He wants his children to live the best life that they can. But she used that, and she used them as a pawn. I believe that, as a pawn. And it's really, really sad. It's sad that this man is going through this, and he doesn't even have his kids to come and visit him, or even give him a call. That's not right. You don't treat people like that. If he was a deadbeat, why did he pay their child support after they were grown for the two? Tell me. And the thing is, when she said she was going to tell her story life with Rob, I was expecting her to tell her story and couldn't because I don't have, because she don't have a story. Then it says he only had to pay for the one underage child. One underage child. Yep. So do she write and sing? How? I'm sorry to laugh, Georgia girl, but you're right. No, she don't write and sing, so she should not take credit for his Grammy. So I guess she said since she was praying for him, he was able to win a Grammy. That's what she's saying. I guess I don't know. All it takes is a call. Absolutely. Yep. Facts, y'all. Guys, this is like crazy. It is nuts. Sorry. We're live. This child wants me to put this necklace on her. Hold on, guys. Just bear with me. Okay. Sorry. She said sorry. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. It says here, most abusive parents or parent disappear for a period of time with no funds provided. I lived it. I agree with you, Elizabeth. Dre started nothing when Lifetime started their bullshit. BS, I'm sorry, which I believe that the connection is Jim D. She saw an opportunity to get on the bandwagon. What better way than to say I am abused wife? Yep. All she can do is use his name. It's sad. If he was so abusive, why did she keep his last name? Shake my head. She wants to be attached to him so bad. This man had this gift. She wasn't there. Absolutely. Well, you can pay child support as long as they are in school, and if they stay in school, that is what would happen and would have happened. And I think at least until 23, I think it was. Zola says, see, Drea thought those lawyers would use the weed video, and it needs to be took kids. Oh, okay, I'm messing up. It needs to be took kids support, buy drugs. She needs to be dealt with on punishment as average person. Prior to the record deal, so she needs to stop. Yeah, it was prior to the record deal. She's full of shit. Yeah, she is. We all need to be at the rally for injustice to get them out. Absolutely. We surely do need to be there. Those who could be at the rallies, please get out there. Show your support to Rob. Elizabeth, abusive husband, don't file for divorce neither. Don't file for divorce first either. It's just not their pattern. That is so true, Shelley. The judge using her to get vote because Rob is a hot topic. It wasn't about Drea so-called abuse. Okay, guys, and I got another call. Hi, you have just reached the infamous Sylvia show. How may I help you?
Hey, Sylvia.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
I want to make my comment with this Drea and Adele. This is Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
I don't understand how they allow these girls to keep coming out, and every time you try to get a break, here they come.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people should be like, well, this is really manipulative. It's manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Manipulating everything because she hasn't said anything yet. And then for them to come out and be like, oh, and my mom was cheating for 30 years, so there was secret self-culture. And it was during a time when women didn't talk about people. You know, it comes to, oh, yo, just go take a ride and calm down kind of moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care how much money you got. There's no accountability on these women's behalf. Just admit you didn't love yourself and you shit it off.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But you heard what she said. The reason why she stayed is because she was staying because the money. That's what it sounded like to me. In short term, it was because of the money she stayed. That's what she claimed.
She sold herself.
Yeah.
And then the citizen parents take his gift and say, oh, well, you know, she wants to take what he hasn't got a Grammy since me. That's his gift. How can you take any reward for it? That has nothing to do with it. That was his gift. And it seems like if he goes up, they can't accept that he's going up without them. When that was his gift, that's his from God, not theirs.
Absolutely.
He can't separate it. You know what I mean? It's frustrating because I was abused, not physically, but I have it. But I mean, growing up in an abusive household, I know how women act to get out of it. And my mom lost her kids to my dad. He even went to the courthouse and said she was mentally unstable and, you know, all kinds of stuff. But even after the run, she's not teaching these kids how to love themselves and teach their kids. She's teaching them to hate a part of them and to be ashamed. And with him being in the public eye like these kids were already complaining about when they went to school, what they dealt with before this charge came up again. So why are you taking them to this again?
Yeah.
You know, especially her son.
I wonder as the kids take getting therapy, because she always mentioned about herself. What about the kids? Are they getting therapy?
I don't think she even understands the impact. She's talking about breaking the curse. Breaking the curse will be coming wild and learning how to deal with it. All the abuse and how to. I was raped by a 14-year-old girl that had a child. Okay. But I was able to face him and say, no, this is your child. I'm not a shitfuck. You're gonna take care of your baby, and I don't need a court. You're gonna take care of your child. That's how I know it. You know what I mean? Because I have a child that doesn't have to grow up and not know who her daddy is or feel ashamed or embarrassed. So that was me saying, I would. You know what I mean? And I don't see none of these women doing that. Everything has to be on display on front page. Not thinking about the consequences, not thinking about these girls. His kids have to live with this. And it could have been taken care of a long time ago. You know, a long time ago. Yeah. I was said it. And not everything has to be. And how is she an advocate? She hasn't even showed us how the hell to move on from this. We ain't seen nobody dicking her down. We don't see her doing nothing but talking about R. Kelly.
Yep.
Oh, we ain't seen her. She ain't showed us how she got up by herself after abuse. She keeps thinking in the abuse, supposedly abuse.
You know what? You know what the thing is now? Now I see why she claims she's keeping the name, because she's the one who gave him the Grammy.
Yeah. How the hell you want to ass up with no kids you get your ass whooped? You earned the name. Come on.
She's trying to be like Tina Turner. That's what she's trying to be.
What are you talking about? It don't make no sense. You know, she's nothing without him, and the only reason he's tied in the industry is him. He hasn't showed a woman how to say, you know, I've been abused, but I got my own business, I got my own house, nigga, I don't need your money. You can be. She hasn't gone over any of that. That girl still sits on this man's phone. Every time he gets a break, here they come. And as he's just, come on, turning up the car. If a judge is that stupid that he can't see that set up, then he needs to be off the side of the head. Any judge that touches this. This is ridiculous. If it was that close, what do you mean he's going to get to burn up the house? If someone wants to burn up the damn house, he's going to burn up the house.
That's what she said? I just saw the picture.
You know what I'm saying? It's sickening to me and it's embarrassing, and I'm so sick of people using black women. There's good black women out there that's gotten their ass beat, and they have gone out and made their own businesses and not have. Most women don't want to look back.
Yeah.
Most kids are old enough to go visit their dad without her.
Yep.
She has to be in the middle. And the fact that she was a secret to tell her dumb ass something. Who the hell accepts being a secret? I ain't gonna be the one damn secret if I'm your wife.
Tell it.
I'm done with it. I'm so sick. These women are making us all look stupid. Ain't no woman, and that's all these women in the same house. We already know black women get together, we gonna fall.
But you heard what she said. If we're bashing her, that means we're abused. We're abused, and
no, I'm not. I'm so abused, but not physically, because I was in an abusive home too. And my thing was, I will always have my own bank account, my own car, my own house. Don't think it's anything because I'm a control freak now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for these girls, because oh my God, shut up. Of course, I'm just so sick of hearing that stuff. And women, black women are strong. And we already know one and one comes together. I've been in prostitution and forced prostitution at 12 years old. Now, if I was smarter than her at 12 years old, this was wrong. I get black folk and so nigga, I ain't giving you this my money. This is my money. I had guns to my head and everything. You know what I mean? I was 12. So she was that stupid in her early 20s. She needed, how she even raised up in Chicago there? What is Chicago? I was raised in a middle class military family. From Washington. I wasn't raised in a hood. She was raised in a hood. You that dumb? Come on.
Yeah.
5 or 6 black women come together with top that man stick up like that room.
Hello. Hello.
No, ain't no black women that weak. And that's all she's displaying. We are not. Women will come together, especially when you get that ass look.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true.
Women will come together. My mom and dad got divorced. You tell them, you bring you that white woman so important, you move her into a house. Because I don't want your ass. Women, when they're tired, we're tired. And if there's 4 or 5 women getting beat the hell out of, we don't come together and figure out how to tap this and walk away with something. Dumbasses and walk away with nothing.
Yep.
And look stupid as hell. And then try to talk about black women. There ain't no black woman. I'm proper intelligent. Never met a woman so goddamn stupid in my life. Sorry, Sylvia, but that's
No, you.
so tickled.
It is fine. I understand. This is the time just to let it out.
Most women want to cut your ass up when they find you with another woman, or let living in the same household and no one says anything. Y'all know that. Because even hoes, they're just private hoes. Looking down at the floor, don't look at this. That's hoeing. You were willing to do that. So that's what you did. That's what you did. I'm sorry you didn't get your money worth. Don't use your vagina as a garbage disposal then. I'm sorry, but it's just, I can't believe that women have come to this part in life where it's okay to be playing a victim.
Yeah.
Being a strength from victim and being accountable for your own actions, and it's not going to happen again. And besides, when you're done, that nigga would know you're done.
You wouldn't even carry his name.
Yeah.
You wouldn't carry his name. Come on.
Being a turn knock the hell out of me.
Absolutely.
The hell, you got sticking in the ass. You ain't gonna get me like that. And not stronger. My mom tried to kill herself when she was 18, 19 years old. At 13 years into it, she didn't care what the hell my dad was just giving shit. Please give it to somebody else. Please let somebody else deal with this shit. And I know damn well she didn't turn, oh my God, it was only me, and I figured it wasn't just me. Everybody has to be already. Oh, shut up. That means you guys are all, I get it. That's all they're doing. It's great. It's the black women. It's not lifting up black women. We are much stronger than this.
Yep, we are.
No way in hell. Even if we see a woman getting jumped on, women are going to use it to retaliate in some shape or form, especially. I know when he was angry and going to change. Yeah, you knew how he was going to change. He should have had a nice wood throw. He has to be sometimes.
Hello.
I ain't from the hood, but I know hot grit, hot oil.
Hello.
I'm going to have the baby on for his ass with something going to happen.
Hello. Tell him.
We're not that weak. I believe that we're not weak.
We're not weak at all.
I'll be damned. Not even in a time when women weren't talking about it, when they're this weak. She just decided to be someone's shit fuck. So that's what you get. You got nothing. Looks like you complain about $20,000 child support, but shut the fuck up.
And for you to not manage that money correctly, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Because if you
should have been investing that into something else anyway. Start a new business, not marijuana. Nothing positive for her kids to go forward with. But how are you going to be making $20,000 a month in child support? And we, a lot of you don't do that in a year.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. And look, she could have been in a nice house. Look, first month for the down payment on the house with that $22,000, right? And then $5,000 would pay every single bill, like the mortgage and the utility. Then the other $15,000 or $17,000, you bank that, you invested, you do what is right. Exactly. Buy some annuities and stuff like that.
Why couldn't she get a grant? Why couldn't she start her own dance studio and make that go if she has such star power behind her belly?
Yeah.
I'm just sick of these women. That was little girls.
Yep.
You know, little girls. I'm not even calling them women. That's the way to die.
Children. Little girls.
Black women have to go through way, no way in hell. This day and age, women are acting that. I know these ones now. I ain't gonna say I don't know no things. But I tell them you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know, a man cheated on you, say what's up, then you're accepting he sleeps with other women. Staying with him with no protection, and you don't care if you have HIV. You don't care if you get someone else pregnant. You don't care if everybody's pregnant at the same time. That's dummy. That's dumb, but y'all, that's not. A woman has to be accountable for her work. What she's accepting and what she's not accepting. And that's what victims do. They grow from being, I'm not a victim no more, and you can't run. And I still have myself for that.
Guess who just popped up something on look like Google popped up on something for Geronda. Something's up. I'm telling you, something is up. Where all of them is starting to say something. Something's up, guys.
Yeah, they're afraid. No one's listening to them. They're afraid he's gonna get out.
Yeah.
He gets out and tells the truth. Then they're really gonna look back and they didn't make for him to get out. That man's gonna get out, and they really ain't gonna have shit for him.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
She better hope those kids don't learn to hate her or any of these toxic them spiritual or anything suicidal.
Yep. Yep.
Because the abuse is bad, but to sit there and hate somebody that's a part of them and teach them to hate and be ashamed of, they should be a very like, dang, my dad is a soft. My dad just did. I couldn't do it. But instead, they got their mom trampling on the best part of them. Where are they gonna go? He ain't gonna do nothing. Teach them how to smoke marijuana. Apparently, it's not sick, and I guess he's jumping off legends. What's he gonna do? He had two strong girls there.
Oh my God! Knows how to do splits. Knows how to do splits.
Where did you teach them to be independent?
She taught him how to do splits because I saw one of them dancing.
That's all she do is split and bounce. Keep the vectors in the vagina bouncing on the ground. Ain't green. Don't self-respect. She could open up a stripper club. She became a madame. That's what she wants to do.
Own the stripper. Yeah, she could own the place. She didn't. You know what I think? She just wanted to live on him and not do any kind of investment. Just shop and live. That's all she wanted to do. Shop and live.
Yeah, and that's what I think all of them do.
Yeah, they just want to shop.
Ended. That was it. Stupid. I'm scared to give me an allowance back. You don't think I'm putting my money away a little bit?
Especially if he's taking care of everything. Shoot, with my allowance, I'll be saving that money like crazy. Investing.
Yeah, right. So if he's giving you allowance, why? You don't know what you're spending. You said, I want to go buy some clothes. Okay, baby, well, you come back with some clothes. You don't know you spend all that money.
Shoot. I would have been banking that money.
And why did you need a white woman to come up and, oh my God, Ray, I'm so proud of you. What happened to another black woman? You guys thinking about black women and black women's rights. Why do you have to go get a white judge to talk about it? I ain't seen her talk to another black woman about it.
She figured she's this judge is, I think she's Indian.
Yeah, she's trying to get a new campaign.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to do.
Trying to get the black votes up, and she's enough to be used, and she can't even tell when she's being used by black guys now. She tells she's being used by men.
That's a shame.
I just wish that her even get over from this man, because this is ridiculous.
Yep.
But a woman, the biggest thing to get over being a victim is forgiveness. That's the biggest thing.
Yep.
That's the biggest control no more. None of these girls are possessed of forgiveness.
No, it's revenge. That's what they're into.
Anybody in the therapy would tell you that's how to get over it, is forgiving him. So you can move on with your life.
Yeah.
You can have peace.
I was told that holding grudges is like drinking poison and hoping that other person would die. When you hold a grudge, when you don't forgive.
You're intoxicating yourself.
Exactly. You're killing yourself.
So that's what the true healing of you is. It's forgiving him, and you can be happy, and I'm going to be okay getting nothing from you. I'm stronger now. So that's none of the qualities of victims that came out of domestic violence relationship.
Yep.
My mom went back to school. She had 5 kids, got married at 16, went back and got her GED, divorced her husband, went back to college, got her everything. You know what I mean? But these girls, it just seems like, I don't understand, they still ain't showing no self-respect. respect, no self-love, and no accountability of whatsoever. And that's this is what I need to do. This will have to get called a hotline. You have to call a hotline and then they shit about being choked. Some women like to be choked in bed, so apparently like it.
Oh no, you didn't say that.
I'm done with it because we're not that true. We've come too far.
Yeah.
There's more independent women in this world today than men. And for these little, I don't even want to call them hoes. What? They come out, oh my God. You need to go get your ass whipped again. Nobody get no dick. No one's talking about how to ever after the justice.
Nope.
Nothing. She's 45 years old. She got a marriage. I think he was just pretty much using her ass to sugar mama. You ain't seen Drea on nothing. And she was the one her ex-husband concert a couple years ago. Birthday first. Answer what the rest of us was. Well, what's that about? They told me they didn't meet each other when I heard. I don't know. This man with this unjustness and all these coincidences, they gotta look at themselves in part. Yeah, he gonna go blow up someone's party. He's trying to get out of there. Oh yeah. He would have did that last year when he went to jail.
Yeah.
He did that when he cut up his $4,000 jacket. I think she's trying to get heat over herself to cut up that $4,000 jacket. So she wants to make it look like he did something to her. He's doing something to her now. R. Kelly just trying to be free. He ain't worried about none of these bitches.
Yep. You're right.
Probably afraid of you to even look at vagina right now.
You better run. You better run from them right now.
Yeah, and then you're out here saying the man dead. What if he's dead? Because you would even someone to off her dick.
Oh, stop. Oh, that's a terrible visual.
What she gonna do to have a cup? Ask him how some of R. Kelly's brother?
That's so nasty. Okay, I don't want to hear it. That's just a nasty visual. Oh no. Oh no, I don't want to see that visual. No.
And then the courage to be ashamed because if you got a daughter that's a slut and a son that's a slut, you got that spirit. I was a single mom of 5 kids and I have one daughter and she would never. She's 30 years old now, she would be scared to cover shit like that. Gonna be him and her. I told you not to play your dice when you were 2 years old. What you mean you play shit out? Come on. No, nigga. No. And they think it's making him look bad. They look bad. He's not bad for his music over 30 years. What they got?
Okay, you digging me. You digging me just said Azrael going to jail charges arson, false police report, and insurance fraud. Is that what just happened?
She did it. She needs to go to jail for that stuff.
They said that.
That's criminal. That's the dumbest criminal. She's gonna catch things up about crap. I tell you. And then our mom comes, Mom, leave me alone. Because you're afraid you're gonna look stupid some more. You want to be that dumb and get out of my house. No self-respect. And if she doesn't respect her parents, her parents will lie on it. Period.
That's sad.
You know, if they're saying she's lying, she sounds like she's got multiple personalities. Can't believe anything that comes out. Like TV goes out. Did you want? I lied about my age. It's just all of it. Hey, I don't even know how they allowed it to get this far. In the same token, I think it's those dogs are going to fall. You know, you don't even have to touch them. They're touching themselves. And I'm not trying to take your life, but I was just like, oh my God, because I was I wonder what else is going to come up now. She's not going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, surprise them. We knew they were going to do something stupid.
We knew it. We called it. We knew it's something gonna come up.
Whatever. From the birth, and if the judge can see the consistency of his birthday, every court day he goes to, one of these girls, if not all of them, have actually do it. But why would you want to be remembered as a victim? Anybody's victim, or red. Why would you want to be named as a victim? Victims don't like to be named victims. That's what they go, oh, I'm not a victim. Why would you come out and say you got herpes from anybody? And try to sue them. Wear a condom then.
Yeah.
Use protection. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just disgusting to me. You know. And I'm so sick of you. Black women, no black women. Black women have been hella back. asking, and they got through it and got away with it, and raised their children and still had some self-respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you've been shitted on a relationship, why would you want to be shitted on after?
Yep, you move on.
For her keeping her and keeping her out of the media. And if your dad is showing toxic in your life, then what did you tell your husband, your dad did? For him to want to protect you and not want that man around.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Why is he just showing up after you get married for a celeb? But he wasn't estranged from your life for a very long time. That's suspicious, you dumb asshole. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't wait till I get married and that's when you want to be daddy of the year? Then he left. Because of divorce, my dad raised us as a single dad. Got my feet at last feet on the regular way stuff. He said, come on, there's some sticky you touching my mom. I was 10 years old. But my mom taught me how to lead. You know what I'm saying? And that was the most important thing. It happened, but I'm leaving, but you left me digging. You know?
Yeah.
He was in the military, you know, back then in the 80s and 90s. It was acceptable for a man to do that. But she knew she had 4 girls. So these girls, they're stuck somewhere. They all need a check for disability, mental illness going on. This is not what fixes them. And they can't convince me otherwise. I know too many women that are out there. I know women that are like you ask me.
Yeah.
They're still saying.
Yeah.
Get tired of getting the ass before you know it. They done pulled out a bat at night for something. Oh, he's tired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't get dramatic now. You're tired of getting that ass. Everybody's tired of getting that ass. You don't get tired of getting that. Women are a lot stronger than that, and I just hate that they're making it okay when a victim can end up being one of the strongest candidates, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
My favorite advocate for anybody.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate. Yeah, all that time to save up money. Make plans. All the time.
Yeah.
The small brain people, that's what happens. You get small reward.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I'm not going to take up your show, hon. I just want
All
to
right. And what is your name again? I'm sorry, I didn't get the name.
Felicia.
Felicia?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling.
No problem.
All right, honey. Have a good. And you're welcome. Have a good night.
I'll be calling in again.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Okay, honey.
All right.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye. Randa, baby! What's going on?
What's up, girl?
Oh, my God. Oh, thanks. See my nails? Y'all, look.
Is it a different color? Like a little lavender? Is it lavender?
Lavender. And my toes are lavender, too. Look.
Look.
Wait, hold on.
No, we can't see it.
Hold on.
She really gonna show the toes, y'all.
Wait, hold on. Can't see the toes.
Oh my God, girl! No, we cannot see them toes. What the hell?
All right, guys, we're gonna go to a different mindset now. We're gonna move on from Drea and all the drama. I need my weight loss, people.
Oh Lord Jesus, girl! Did you talk about that today? Did you already have a conversation about that?
No, I'm supposed to be getting on the scale right now and I'm going to go transfer to the phone so I can get on the scale.
Who's gonna go weigh themselves right now?
I gotta be transparent to you guys on live so you can see that I am the weight that I say I am.
Yeah.
Dom, say hi to you, Randa.
Hey, Dom.
Elizabeth says she can't see my toes, so I gotta do it again.
Girl, I said the same thing. I'm like, I can't see your toes. What are you doing?
Elizabeth can't see them. Elizabeth can't see the toes, so I gotta do them again. So I gotta wait.
Yo, did you see her when she first tried to do it? Y'all, she's like, can you see it? Like somebody can see it like that. Then she said, hold on, y'all.
hold on. Okay, wait, lift the leg up.
Like it went all the way to the back. Like it was all the way to the back.
Ma'am, don't you have to take a flight in the morning?
Yeah.
Did you check in already?
Yes, I got my boarding pass.
But these are the nails. These are my nails. Oh, let me see your pic. Let me see your color. You and Denise got almost the same color.
No, mine is bright pink. It looks orange, but it ain't orange. Denise is orange.
Oh, okay.
Denise got hot orange. Bright orange. Let me say bright orange, not hot. She got bright orange and I got bright pink.
What did you get? Did you get the powder? I got the powder.
No, I do gel.
I did the powder.
Yeah, I do gel.
See, these are my nails. No tips or nothing. These are mine. I like
Support that.
Hey, Jaden.
Hey.
Hey. Are you hiding? Oh, there we go.
She said, where you at?
Where you do Pork chop?
Yeah, Port Top.
Those are fresh flowers. Where you get flowers from?
Girl, them is fake flowers.
Oh, they look like
That's why they look so nice. Don't they look so nice?
they look so real.
They look so nice sitting over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This, you know, I just say with the whole stuff that's going on right now, I say let them put themselves in a hole. Let them dig their own hole because that's what they do.
It's sad. It's sad.
It really is. And you know, you can see a trend. You see the trend, you know something's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, let them put themselves in a hole. Like, it's bullshit and it's messed up, but these jokers is only putting themselves in a hole.
You know what I started thinking about since the cases coming up, you know, since all the different cases, like the trials are coming up, we should start doing a series on every single lie that's being told.
But see, that's the thing though. That's what I was gonna say. You can't focus on these people because obviously they talking, they not part of it. You get what I'm saying? They not part of it. We focusing on the wrong people.
No, not the people. No,
except one, the one that lied. Never mind.
No, I'm just talking about like, okay, I'm talking about like the case itself, like the tapes. You know what we have learned in the past about the tape, and also showing that there's a saying that there was that guy who actually was the person that was in the video. He even said it himself, and you know, because people don't know. Because I was talking to the guy that was on live with us like yesterday, Paul. He doesn't know what we know.
Right. That's just like who did you have on here? He really didn't know. What is it? Orange juice. When we had juice on here, he had no clue until we started telling him stuff, and he was like, "Wait a minute, what?" See, it's like people only know what's out there in the main media, and a lot of people, majority of the people, that's all they know is what's being put out on main media.
And main media is manipulate. They use words and things
just to get ratings and everything else.
Because he's the hottest thing. I mean, all over the world, even in Africa. Because I was talking to my husband's people, and they were saying that, you know, they hear all this negative thing, but they don't believe it. I'm telling you, they do not believe it at all because it doesn't make sense. Some of the stuff that's being said. But see, we are so like, they talk about him being the one controlling your mind, brainwashing. We're so brainwashed here in America that we believe everything that the media says because the media is trying to sell a story and they're trying to demonize him, make him look like a villain. So they're gonna anything positive about him, they're not gonna put it out. They're not.
Of course not. And you're right, Dom. That's why I say, like, don't even debunk their lies. We at this point, it's useless. And then they can go back. Oh, you know what? Let me go listen to the stuff I said on this station, this station. You know what I'm saying? Let me remember some of this stuff.
Okay, right.
No.
But what we can do is start putting out all the positive stuff about him.
He does that. He runs away.
Start putting out all positive things about him. What he has done for people, you know, letting people talk about how they met him and how he is not the thing that they claim that he is. I'm not even gonna use the word.
Yeah. It's sad, and it's crazy because you know he's in this appeal process where he's trying. They're like, "Yo, we don't have all the discovery. So, what we've been trying this since when? And when was they supposed to get it? And they never got it."
July 11th, there'll be a full year that he's been in jail, guys, and it's right around the corner.
And he was, and didn't I tell you they was gonna postpone her court? Remember we talked about it? I said, watch them postpone.
Yeah, you said that. But I think that's why she's coming out. She's angry. She's angry that there's some retaliation of the stuff that she has done.
Yep, it is. They both looking desperate at this point, like Randa said. They digging their own holes. That's exactly what they doing.
Yep. Don said we were brave.
Yeah, like I'm not even gonna say make it make sense, but look at it. Look at the perception. If you're in fear of your life, somebody just set your vehicle on fire and they're about to set your house on fire. I'm not gonna be on social media posting pictures of me smiling at my burnt vehicle.
No, I will be at the police station.
Why the vehicle still there? Why'd you get somebody to come take that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm like, that sounds a little fishy to me. And then ain't nothing happened like that ever. Nothing like that's ever happened, and all of a sudden it happened. And the only reason I'm bringing that is because I just don't want that to fall on R. Kelly's situation because it has nothing to do with him. I don't want the prosecution trying to, it's got to do with him. You know what I'm saying? They've been turning everything, anything people do on the internet, they've been trying to make it look like it's him. Mm-hmm. Like he's orchestrating all this.
Yep. He says liars have a tendency of lying once. They continue to lie.
That.
Then they find themselves in 10 lies and then start one lie.
You never remember the first lie you told. You never remember the second, third, fourth. It's something going to change all the time. And if you watch and you listen closely, something changes all the time. But they all have that one particular story that stays the same because they all telling the same one.
EJ says Drea mad because the pressure is being put on her and her lights is looking dim.
I said the money running out, y'all. The money running out from them doing interviews, whatever. It's getting low. And then other people need votes. It's voting season.
Yeah.
It's voting season. People are doing stuff. What's in the public's eye? What should we go with? You know what? I'm gonna go with this instead of with that.
Well, domestic violence is not in the public eye. You know what's in the public eye? Black Lives Matter. That's in the public's eye right now. That judge is going in the wrong spot. Yep. Maybe she's pushing it on Black women lives matter, right? They're abused, right? Right, okay.
You stupid.
Say, yep, R. Kelly don't have any of these people. How can you hold them responsible?
It's really sad, man, and it makes you mad, and it makes you so mad that you want to say so much, but you can't say. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want your opinion to affect his case.
Yeah.
Because you're a supporter and you're a fan, so it's not much you can say, but you sit back and you're like, really? We all thinking the same thing. We all thinking the same thing.
You digging me said, Sylvia Randa, I'm glad she burned home. You think you gonna get us in trouble?
You
better stop, you digging me.
You feel me? I mean, shoot, we getting accused of all kind of crap out here.
Before we get to Florida,
you know what I'm saying?
Florida, so we can't get blamed for that shit.
I was about to say something, but then I caught myself. I was like, you know what?
We can't get blamed for that shit. Not us.
No, we're just trying to go to Florida and have a nice little away time. You ain't got no money, you broke.
in our own town right now.
Look, put some respect on my name. Yo, put some respect on my name.
As y'all can tell, my favorite color is purple. You notice that? Everything I do is purple.
Mine is purple too, but I wear a lot of pink.
I wear a lot of black because I'm fat.
Yo, I can't stand it. I seen you earlier today reminiscing, going back. Y'all, the same pictures, if y'all was on here earlier, same pictures she was showing y'all today, I done seen like 1,000 times.
I show it to Randa all the time. Hey.
Like when she get in her little reminiscent phase, she be like, you know what? Let me show you some pictures of what I used to look like.
Randa be like, I saw these pictures already, so.
I'm like, okay, but I'll be supporting. I'm like, okay, go ahead and send it. I seen it already, but I'm gonna let you send it. She be like, just let me do it. Just let me do it. Let me see. We got this thing. She already spent, spent that money on that weed. Hey, y'all notice y'all don't hear nothing else about that, right? What happened?
She got in trouble with it.
But she had her own supposedly shop, right? That's what she spent the money on, was the weed.
Building an empire for her babies. That's what she said.
Oh, but now she's doing like private dances for people.
Oh, she doing private dances?
Uh-huh.
You want to go to private dances? No, go dancing. Nah, that's not the type of dancing I want to do.
No, not the type of dancing she giving people.
And she'd be like,
she be like,
you see?
I'm like, Hallie! What's that?
Let me stop. I don't want to get dinged.
Yo, be all up in this. Hey, it's a video that what's that dude's name? John Travolta, that exercise with Tommy Lee, and they was up in there. She was doing the exercise and stuff. There's a video that's going around. They be like, that's what she was doing. She was doing that 80s dance.
Private dance.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, she's a private dancer.
Private dancer.
Guess what? I can go live on the fake app.
Y'all, I got a feeling we're gonna be live all weekend.
They want to see what we doing.
And you know, I'm driving to Nashville to the airport, so.
You driving to Nashville?
Yeah, that's when my flight leave out.
What time?
Early in the morning.
Girl, how long it takes you to get to Nashville?
Hour and a half.
So you gotta get out there super early, huh?
Just before 5:30, about 5:30. I'll be there. Wait, no, not 5:30. I'm sorry, 4:30.
So what time? Oh, you tell me you're not sleeping tonight?
Girl, probably not. I slept today.
Okay. Oh, so you need company then, huh? While you ride?
Nah, I like to turn my music up and drive.
Oh, you don't want to talk to us, huh?
Wait, what? Y'all all gonna be asleep? Well, no, Denise said she gonna be up because Denise got to catch her flight too, and Gucci gonna be up too because Gucci got to catch his.
Yeah, because he got to drive far away. I'm the only one that's gonna be asleep.
Look, y'all, we all gonna be. Let me tell y'all. Me. Oh wait, what did it say? Your brother is us. Okay. Me, Gucci, and Denise. We all getting there hella early, and she the only one coming in late. She gotta be the eyeball, y'all.
And guess what, y'all? They gotta wait on me.
No, we don't, because you don't get there till later, so we gonna be like out and about.
They still gotta wait on me.
No, we just gotta go back and go get her. We just gotta go pick you up.
They gotta wait on me. Cause she can't get checked in anyway.
Oh, wait, I thought you asked me about early check-in.
I said no.
What? You did not tell us that. Y'all see how Sylvia waited till last minute to say this shit?
Look, he waited till last minute to reply to me. You know how long ago I asked that man that question?
Yep, at the very beginning when you first did it.
Hello. And he's like, "Oh, could you send the request over again?" Okay, I send the request. No.
Like, dude. What they say? Have fun for me too. I know. Hey, next trip though. Look at Marsh laughing. Y'all, Gucci think that. Let me tell y'all, Gucci think that we finna be out there in somebody's club, which I'm not gonna be in nobody's club because I ain't getting the coronavirus. He think we finna be in somebody's restaurant. No, we finna order and go home.
We're ordering our food and we're gonna sit at the house and do what we need to do.
Yo, I am not playing with Gucci. Gucci like, we gonna do this. Now the only thing I will go to is the casino.
My hubby said he's gonna take us to the plane tomorrow.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even ask him. I was gonna just park my car because I hate to wait for people when it's come time for me to come home.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing that's why I'm driving myself because I
hate to wait at the airport.
If I want to, not even that. If I want to leave at a certain time, I want to leave at a certain time. If you late, I'll be I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. If you gotta be at the airport at a certain time, I'm gonna get you there.
I like to get myself there.
Me too.
But he wants to take us, so I'm gonna let him take us. Yeah.
She should have done the dancing during the time she was doing the splits in the summer. Okay. Okay.
Are we talking about colors?
Hey, that's what she needed that money for, dog. That's exactly what she needed it for. Like, oh, I finally found me some smoked paprika.
Oh, where you get it from?
Girl, I had to go. I went to they had some at Kroger's.
You should have bought me some, and I'll just give you money when we see each other tomorrow.
You know what? We tried to find some in Florida.
Okay, I'll look for it because I still need some smoked paprika. Smoked paprika.
I know I heard you was asking for it,
and you didn't get me one.
No, well, you know what?
I asked Gucci to get me one. He said he was gonna get it.
Look at my face. Who did you ask?
Gucci.
Exactly. Exactly.
Don, my email address.
Hasn't Gucci been MIA all day?
Gucci's been he's been trying to get beautified. Did you see my lashes, Miranda?
Yeah, you showed it to me today because I asked you, did you get the singles?
But you should see Dallas. Dallas got hers thick. I should have got mine thick. But, I have to see what kind of work she did first before I put too many lashes on.
You so stupid.
What you laughing at, Willie?
Laughing at you.
What you laughing at, Willis? Like, what you laughing at, Willis? That's sad, bro. That none of them went directly to the wrong kids either. That's true.
How many of y'all coming to the New York March?
Can we get a head count?
It's free, y'all. It's free.
You are so petty. Did you just hear her, y'all? Randa is petty as hell.
It is free, y'all. The March in September for New York.
So what are you trying to say? Another march costs money?
No, marches are free. Rallies are free.
Well, he's laughing at you.
Hi, Dimple.
You are so freaking petty over here. We need to stop being so petty. Okay, Dimple, yes, I received your email. Let's see. Let me look at y'all stuff. Randa, I don't see.
God, y'all. I'm going MIA.
I don't see a date on yours, Randa.
Yes, you do. You see the details. I pulled up the details just so you can see that shit.
Hold on.
I had to take a screenshot. I took the picture and then I took a screenshot to show the details. When I took it, all right.
Hold on.
Yeah, she trying to come for me. Okay, Jenny. They said they'll be there for sure. You know what, Dom? I bet you none of that money went to them kids. None of it. It all went to the weed.
Okay, Princess, I got yours. Is Princess here today? Princess is here.
EJ said, shit, not one thin dime. Not even a dime.
Okay, that's I did have Princess. I have Love Yourself. I have yours. Oh,
What?
Love Yourself says she can't participate.
Uh-oh, why? What happened?
Her schedule has doubled and due to the coronavirus. Oh wow.
That's so sad.
Oh. Yes, please continue drinking the water and love yourself.
All right, I'm finna finish making my pork chops and stuff. So.
Wait a minute, pork chop?
Yeah.
You're eating pork chop tonight?
I'm making dinner for Jaden, and then he gonna have dinner for tomorrow. Cook tonight. Nichelle, she asked for a check-in at the last minute. Early check-in at the last minute, so we couldn't get it.
It wasn't at the last minute. You speak of last minute would have been today. I asked when I put in the request. You need to talk to the people about the last minute stuff.
No. I'm gonna tell y'all we probably could have got early check-in, but you know, Gucci likes to do last minute stuff. So we're not letting Gucci plan anywhere we stay no more. Right, Sylvia?
Absolutely.
The lady's gonna do it.
Yeah, I just see so. Okay, hold on. Okay, Dimples, I have your numbers. Dimples, good job. Good job, Dimples and Randa. Thank you so much. Yeah.
What?
She got me looking upside down. You know.
I got you looking upside down.
No, and know the weigh-in is like upside down, and then when you try to twist it, it twists with you.
Is that your suitcase behind you?
Yes, it's my carry-on bag.
Yeah. Let me tell y'all, Sylvia has had her suitcase packed since Saturday or Friday last week.
Yes.
I don't know.
You know how you're excited about going somewhere?
I don't pack that early. I just like my suitcase ain't even packed yet.
I'm like those kids when they going somewhere, they don't sleep the night before. Like they.
That's how you are. That's how you are. Like a week in advance.
I haven't been on vacation in so long. I just need a break, guys. This corona stuff is just driving me like.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Y'all, what else has been popping? What else has been popping y'all on the YouTube street? I am baking the pork chops.
Oh yeah, we heard some bad stuff about Miami.
Yeah, they closing some beaches up in Miami.
Yeah. So we're gonna be beaching it in the house. Let me show you what I did, y'all.
Look, why Marsha gonna jump in and say, how am I making my pork chops? Am I frying them or baked? Now, Marsha, you know me, and you know I ain't frying nothing.
Okay? I got a ton of gloves.
I'm gonna borrow some. You know I ain't finna sit here and do nothing but bake. Okay.
I got wipes. This kind of wipes.
Look, Denise is up because she said I'm ready.
Look, guys, I got the hand sanitizers. They said they're not good for you. I got airborne. Look. Look, I got airborne. Vitamin C. I got all the stuff. Got a ton of masks.
Yeah, we've been keeping up with the numbers because I had to let my job know, and when I come back I have to like self-quarantine for 14 days just because Florida is a restricted area. But the funny part is Alabama restricted too now because our numbers don't went the hell up.
Y'all, I say this, guys, I'm sorry to be so like funny about it, but I'm gonna join myself just in case we all die.
She lying. She already was the one who said, I ain't eating nobody's restaurant. I ain't going here. I ain't going to no club. I'm sitting right here. And we gonna be 6 feet apart.
Don't touch anything. And I already said, Denise, we're gonna be quarantined from you because you're around people that have quarantine. What do you call it? Corona. Denise already said to random.
Remember, she got her test back. Her test came back negative.
But I say I'm still staying away from you because you might be a carrier.
Yeah, I'm in Bama. You digging me?
I'm not okay, Elizabeth. I won't say that.
She did send the link. Denise is in the chat. It's in Messenger.
I sure did. See, Denise?
That damn Denise. You know she ain't looking in that message.
She sure ain't. She said I have my papers.
She got her papers to prove it to us.
She said I got my papers. I'm not a carrier. Oh, God, he's so funny.
Yeah, I have a 2-hour flight, y'all. I have a non-stop flight.
I have a non-stop flight, too.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to, like, get off one flight, go to another. I needed a non-stop. Actually, I wasn't supposed to leave till like 11 or around noon, and they ended up changing my flight on me and made it extra early. Then they're gonna send me an email yesterday telling me, do you want to change it to Saturday? No. They giving $150 vouchers to people that change their flight.
They try to get me to change it. Is it yours, American Airlines?
Yes, that's why American Airlines doing it.
Yeah. They send me an email saying, it's going to be busy on your flight. Do you want to change your flight? Hell no.
Because it ain't no flights till Saturday. I looked.
It's bad enough that I have to get there at 5 o'clock. You think I'm going to change my flight? No.
I ain't changing.
I was trying to get there early.
Yeah. I think Denise gonna wait because the nigga they got her leaving early on Sunday.
What time you leave on Sunday?
I don't leave till late, like 8.
Me too. I leave at 8.
Okay. As long as I got somebody that's gonna be behind with me. Because I was like, damn, I'm about to drive Gucci crazy because Gucci staying longer.
Yeah, no, me and you gonna be there together. We're gonna go to the airport about 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yours is a non-stop going back?
Mine, yeah, non-stop.
Mine too.
Yep. So what time you get in the New York one?
Ooh, girl, New York. I gotta go look at it. I gotta go look at New York.
I'm in the afternoon again in New York.
I think it's like 2.
Oh, mine is 2. I come in at 2.
Yeah, I think it's like 2. And then I have a later flight leaving out.
You go back before us on New York. You go back on the 30th, right? I go back the 1st.
Yeah, I go back a day before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell y'all, we got our tickets when it was like $50, $30.
We hopped up. We like, where else can we go?
Yo, when I say we was getting them tickets, we was like, I'm like, dang, I should have bought some Hawaii tickets. That's what I should have bought because the Hawaii tickets was $300. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
He was buying Hawaii tickets. I don't know why he did. But look,
I think he did buy his Hawaii ticket.
Look, remember I bought tickets to New York for my daughter and I. We paid $25 for those New York tickets. 25. I've never paid $25 for two people before in my whole entire life. It was $16.
Oh, we only there for the weekend, Princess Diana. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We was gonna do longer, but then other people started dropping out, so we just did a little short trip.
Like long as people like Dana and Marshall.
I ain't calling no names. She calling y'all out. I ain't calling no names. I ain't calling names.
Elizabeth said which ticket was $50
from Nashville to Florida for Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And then my ticket for New York was like $93.
I paid $117 for me and my daughter round trip.
Yep, and my round trip.
New York, we paid $98 round trip.
Yo, Nichelle, my suitcase is still sitting on my bed with nothing in it.
Because like as soon as Corona hit, the price of the flights were plunging.
Yo, those prices was down so I said, man, I'm about to plan for next year. I should have got my ticket for Amsterdam. That's what I should have did, was get my ticket for Amsterdam. But I wasn't even thinking. They high now.
So it's always a ticket to Florida. Did you see the prices?
Yes, girl. I went and looked the other day. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I got my ticket when I got my ticket.
$900 and $600 for a flight that we got for $117 for two people round trip. Come on.
Hey, Elizabeth, I'm gonna be in New York by myself. I'm going along. Wait, where are you at, Elizabeth? What state?
I thought she was in
Is it Tennessee that she was in?
I thought so. It's Tennessee or someplace over there by you, Southwest.
You said South. Oh, girl, we are the South. We are not Southwest.
Southwest of me.
Oh, I'm like, what?
Me. Not.
Oh yeah, Denise paid $4.97 for her ticket. Because she waited the last damn minute when we said, get your ticket now, get your ticket now.
She paid the price of all of our tickets together, round trip.
Elizabeth, what airport do you fly out of? Hell yeah, look, she was looking crazy. She was looking butthurt when she had to pay for that ticket.
Look, it was mine, Dallas. Okay, mine and Dallas was $117 round trip. How much was yours, Brenda?
To where?
To Florida.
I said like $50.
$50. What was your round trip?
$50.
Yours was $50 round trip. Mine and my daughter $117 round trip.
Like with taxes and stuff, it came up to probably $60.
Okay, then Gucci's was how much was it? 80 something?
Gucci's may have been a little over 100 because he waited till last minute too.
Well, look, all of our tickets is the price of hers.
Pretty much. It probably don't even equal to hers. We probably like in the 300s and change.
Okay, I'm gonna add it up. 117. 117, 60.
No, Denise, she rubbing that shit in your face. You know she being petty.
60. What? Yours was 60. What? How much was yours round trip?
Ooh, you 5 hours from Tennessee. I mean Nashville. I'm only an hour and a half.
Okay, so and then
Tri-Cities, okay.
And then let's see, Gucci was $100. So all together,
look, y'all, she being so damn petty.
Our flight comes up to $277.
You so petty.
It comes to $277. All of our tickets together came to $277 Denise. Round trip.
Denise, when she get on, she gonna cuss you out. Like, shut that shit up, Sylvia.
Look, and she paid $497. Wow, you paid $500. Do you want to see my receipt?
Hey, Sylvia, they should have been like us, huh? They should have been on top of that shit when we.
No, you want to see my receipt, Denise? I can show you my receipt.
You so wrong. You dirty. You so dirty. Hey, put the link in the chat so Denise can come on here and cuss you out.
Look, she probably paid more for even with our New York trip.
Denise, go in the messenger and scroll up, and you're gonna see the link up in there so you can come on here.
Look, well, let's put our New York trip in there too.
She said no allowance for you.
No allowance?
You ain't getting no allowance, dude.
Why no allowance? That's not nice.
She said no allowance for you.
She's not giving. You already didn't give me no allowance the last couple of weeks. You know, you didn't give me no allowance. You're a bad mother.
She said, yo, you know she gonna cuss you out after this.
She's a bad mother. She didn't give us an allowance.
She gonna cuss you out.
No allowance for you. Well, I guess because you got your money taken by the airline, so you can't give me my allowance, huh? Yeah, me.
You dirty.
What you eating? A mango?
No pickle.
Oh, I just bought a mango. I did not eat it yet. Did we all get a Gucci birthday gift? Hell
Yeah,
no.
This is his birthday present. Happy birthday, Gucci!
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, bitch. That's what he's gonna say.
His birthday gift is us.
Us coming down. He's forcing us to come, so we coming. We're risking our lives for him.
Okay. We are. Denise said, I'm taking everything.
Wow.
Yo, Denise said she gonna be smoking. She said, so when y'all don't see me, I'm taking my smoke break. She said she going downstairs, she gonna go outside and smoke.
We're gonna have to put an alarm on you. Denise, we want to see your nail color.
I'm gonna buy Gucci a bottle when I get there. I ain't ready. That's a gift from me.
Dallas is buying him a bottle too. We're gonna get that man drunk, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm about to take some pictures. This shit about to be funny. I'm gonna make sure I don't get that drunk around Gucci. Because Gucci gonna be passed out like this. With his big old gut. And he'll be like, his big old gut. Look, Denise already said she ain't getting drunk. Yeah, Denise said she gonna bring her own damn beer. I'm like, Denise, but you know they sell beer there, right? She said, I don't give a damn. Wait, do Gucci smoke cigars? Oh, you know what? That would have been a good gift right there too. Or I can just let him eat all the food he want to eat. Did you get my email and pictures? Phoenix Rising said, did you get their email and pictures?
Yes, Phoenix, I did, and thank you. You were on point, even though you were like half weird with it, but you were on point.
Wait, what?
She didn't send me a doctor. I mean, what do you call it? She didn't send me a picture of a newspaper, but she showed me her doctor's appointment date.
Let me tell you. Cynthia wanted y'all to show her a newspaper. If you look at a newspaper still, put a 1 in the chat. If you look at a newspaper, put a 1 in the chat. Because it ain't that many people that look at newspapers. Then she wanted you to watch CNN with the date in the corner. And she wanted you to send that in with the picture. I can't, y'all. Okay. Like you can't click on the picture and click details and then just screenshot it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's what I did.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, Shannon said 1.
You're very rare, like Sylvia, Shannon. You're very rare, like Sylvia. Hey, Denise said we're gonna make a reality show in Miami.
Hold on, we're doing one. They go Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. They go to one.
If you laughing at that, put a 2. If you laughed at Sylvia when she said, go get a newspaper and put it on the scale where you weigh yourself, put a 2. Because I did. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, they still get newspapers in their yards around here, and I was shocked to see that. I was like, oh, so you still have people that come by and just throw newspaper in the neighborhood, huh?
Hey, Dom, I got what you sent me. I got it, Dom. If you're still in the chat, I got it. Yep, I see it. The setup is real, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, she said she's gonna go finish up on the barbecue.
She's bringing all her barbecue food.
I'm about to tear me some ribs up, though.
Now I'm gonna tear me some brisket.
Gucci gonna be looking at us all weird. We're gonna be like, okay, this shit good. Yeah, I'm finna finish cooking and then start packing. So if y'all gonna get on Messenger, I'll answer.
Huh?
So I'm finna get off of here and go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, I gotta do my weigh-in. I'm gonna get off and then I'm gonna go live on the thing for my weigh-in people so y'all can see my weigh-in. This is
You can't just take a picture of it and put on your community tab. You gotta be extra special.
Say it again.
You can't just take your picture and put it on your community tab. You gotta be extra special, make an extra video for it.
No, I want them to see me live. I'm not gonna keep it on. I'm just gonna let them see me live. Okay, I'm not gonna let them see me.
Y'all, all her weighing videos, she got on there and she said, I'm not gonna keep y'all long. They're like 2 hours long.
Oh, dang. I've been on here 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm gonna get off.
Good.
So I will chat with y'all later. See y'all when we go live in Miami.
You send in your stuff. I didn't see your stuff, ma'am. Toy, did you send in your weigh-in? Well, we'll see. Well, I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow to find out whose stuff I didn't get. But anyway, darlings, I am going to leave you guys. Have a wonderful night. Later. Oh, you forgot? Send it in. I got Princess Diana's already. I need yours, Toy. I have everyone else's. That's it. Just send it in, guys. Check you guys later. Bye.